Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Got the happy hour blues? Get to Cops for happy hour relief with 2 happy hours from 3 to 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. till close Sunday through Friday. Cops serves 24-ounce domestic drafts for just $3 and 24-ounce craft drafts for only $4, plus $2 off appetizers. The restaurant that offers great pizza, burgers, and tasty charred wings now offers 2 great happy hours. Visit Cops today at 180th and Center, the Shadow Lake Town Center, and 72nd and Jones, or click copspizza.com. Cops, pizza, and so much more.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Tell us how you feel on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Reach Gary, Nick, Connor, Josh, and John anytime on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction at yourexteriorexperts.com.
The backseat. Check the backseat. All right, come here. Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the backseat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
A crossover is crossover dribble. Sing for the crossover. Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time. Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul. Crossover. Double crossover. The crossover continues to evolve.
The worst part is when their ankle actually breaks because it's horrible.
The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Everlevel.
I'm Connor Happer. Here's Jimmy Chavez. Here's Josh Hudson. Josh.
Hello. How we doing, boys?
Fresh off of some high school baseball yesterday.
Yes.
How'd it go?
So one hitter.
A one-hitter?
A one-hitter.
Almost history.
Nah.
Is our coach willing to manage the Astros?
Who advanced? Who did you see win yesterday?
I saw number 1 seed Lincoln East and number 2 seed Millard West advance.
Were they laughers?
The second one definitely was. Lincoln East won 2-0, but like I said, it was a one-hitter. So
okay,
so it was like
never
Josh
really
Beckett.
in doubt.
Game 6 and 03.
Yeah.
You never really felt the Yankees had a chance,
Right?
Because of Connor's friend Jack McKeon.
That's exactly right. That's my guy.
Not on Instagram.
No, definitely not on Instagram. Definitely not at age 93. That's for sure. Yeah. So welcome to the crossover. This is indeed the crossover.
Gorgeous day today.
I'd like to well, actually, first of all, you're probably wondering, I'm sure if you're watching along with us on the stream, we have been delivered a box of goods. I don't know who dropped this box off.
Nick did, technically, but I don't think Nick provided them.
So is this because Josh Peterson declared that track was boring?
Whoa.
This was the response?
Maybe.
What a garbage take.
So in our...
He said it's boring.
In our studio right now, we have a gigantic box of merch from the Nebraska School Activities Association.
Shout out to them, by the way. Thank you.
State Track and Field Tournament. So here you go. Shout out to track and field, of course. State Track and Field hat, of which I will be wearing. Josh has got his steak. That's a great bucket hat.
And Connor, that
Thank
bucket
you.
hat looks like it's you too. You guys should. In fact, when
It
we
does.
redo pictures this summer, you guys should
Yeah.
do the bucket hats.
And we
Bucket
got
boys.
an NCAA track and field state championship polo. Love a good
Beautifully
polo.
colored
I love a
gray.
random polo, as you can tell
Mhm.
by my polo today.
Yeah, what is
The
that?
city of Dubuque.
Not Iowa.
But
Wow.
look at the tagline, Josh. Look at the tagline.
Masterpiece on the Mississippi.
That's right.
Oh, it is that Dubuque. I thought it was Dubuque, Mississippi.
No,
I don't know if that exists.
No, it's Dubuque, Iowa.
Okay.
I went to the city of Dubuque's website and I ordered this shirt.
You weren't just in Dubuque and you were like, oh, that's a nice looking polo. Okay, I guess I'll buy it.
No, I am in Dubuque quite often, but we had to have our fits ready for the big tournament last year in Dubuque, and so we all wore the city of Dubuque masterpiece. I bought 4 of them. I don't know what kind of web traffic they experience on a regular everyday basis, but it did take a while for the polos to get delivered to us.
Did you get your wife one? As everyone, the Happers are supporting Dubuque.
Everyone on my golf scramble team.
Hey, Bill, I know it's a Sunday, but we got 4 orders. It's all hands on deck.
I think we ordered them in late May and
It's
probably
100% increase. What are we going to do?
I think we ordered them in late May and maybe received them by the middle of July.
Oh my goodness.
At least you didn't get them in December.
We're not, that was a big order. It was a big order. And so I got that one. I love a random polo. That's
Random
for sure.
sweatshops in the middle of rural Iowa to make those shirts.
For this crossover, I would like to draw your attention to a tweet from our good friend Michael Severe that I just came across from 12 hours ago.
Who Gary has told me I have a lot in common with. I'm proud of that.
Curmudgeons.
Yes.
Thank you.
Curmudgeons. So
I'm Team Michael here.
Here's what Michael decided to put out there at 9:58 p.m. last night.
Except for something here.
I'd rather cook dinner for 50 vegans than do a full day of yard work. I hate everything about it, but mostly just having to be outside. Bring back the winter.
I was with him until that.
That sounds like
there's like 4 takes buried in there.
Yeah, that sounds like an AI. Like, how do you create the worst? Hey, create the Chat GPT, create the worst take of all time. It's this.
First of all, if he's cooking a meal for 50 vegans, I bet it's going to be delicious. So sign me up to.
Yeah,
I mean,
he'd figure
that's fine.
something out.
It'd be fantastic. But second, unless I get to move back to San Antonio, I do not want to ever say bring back winter.
Most of the people,
because I think it's a gorgeous day here in the Big O.
Regular people are like, you know what? I could deal with yard work because at least I get to be outside all day. In Michael's case, that's actually the thing that he seems to dislike the most about it. And he says, I'd rather have it just be cold and dark all the time than have to go outside.
Okay, give Michael benefit of the doubt here. How cold is he talking? He's talking like Seattle cold, because that's not cold. That's like October here.
I don't know.
So if he wants 45 and dark, I'm with him then. I'm fine.
You're into 45 and dark.
Well, I mean, if I have to have one with the other, I'm going to enjoy our 80-degree sunny day today, but I'm just trying to. Now, if we're talking like the cold when Creighton played St. John's and Patino was going to go freeze out there, like
that was bad.
Yeah, no,
that was a tough day.
I don't want that.
That was a bad day.
That hurt. I had to sit down to pee for a week.
So, real quick,
there's a lot here.
I asked Chat GPT
to create the worst take possible.
Yeah.
What did it come up
Mike
with?
Trout overrated?
My instructions were very vague. I said, create the worst sports take ever. Sports are meaningless because all athletes are overpaid and fans wasting their time watching games could be curing cancer instead. Let's shut down all stadiums and redirect all that money and energy into something truly valuable, like solving world hunger. Sports are just a distraction, keeping us from real progress.
I've heard a take like that before.
Yeah.
They sell food at these sporting events, though. I mean, that cure hunger. Have a hot dog.
I always like when people
go on Buck Night.
When people catch, like regular people who don't care about sports at all, they catch wind of the idea that like Nebraska is building this gigantic, football facility, or they have, iPads in their showers or something like that. And they're like, well, you know what?
On the hub.
Why didn't we just donate all that instead of spending $170 million on a new football facility for all these football players, 18-year-old football players? Why didn't we just cure cancer
and buy books? And books about curing cancer.
Why didn't we buy books
in a new building of books and cancer?
There's a reasonable answer to that. It's because sports are a pretty big business
and more fun.
I don't know which take was worse. Michael's take about winter being better and being outside during the summer is bad, or sports in general are a waste of time.
I actually think Michael's take is worse.
I'm not trying to defend Michael on the outside thing, because I said I agree with I disagree with the bring back winter, but I'm trying to process it through here, workshopping it, if you will. It's 99 degrees with 437% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
You have to lift your giblets just to walk because it's so humid. That might be what he's getting at. And if that's the case, I'm going to have to then side with
I would still
know.
take the heat.
But then again, it was cold. My car the battery didn't die, but it almost did.
Every time that I'm, it comes to fruition the most at the College World Series, because whatever weather comes those 2 weeks.
Last year was fantastic.
Last year actually ended up being great. 2 years ago was extreme heat. And I always had to think to myself, as I was running around the stadium and all these, I got the bucket hat on, I'm reapplying sunscreen every 10 seconds.
Checking the
I think to myself, I would much rather have this than physically not being able to go outside at all. I would much rather have it. I would take 110 degrees with 473% humidity over the piles of snow and the gray and the cold.
I don't slip and fall
Mount
on my
Happer.
ass on dry dirt.
No, give me the heat.
Now, there's a reply to this take.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Man, I love being outside. Yard work may suck, but being outside and loving the sun and nature ain't nothing better. Michael responded, few things I hate more than the heat and sunny days.
I'm sorry. I love this. This is great.
What is going
Now,
on?
Michael Severe hates a lot of things.
I didn't know about
Yeah,
this.
he and I are like online when it comes to like soccer.
Sunny days.
Sunny days.
Screw Sesame Street, man.
The one thing like that is emblematic of happiness. It's like what goes with happiness? 1-to-1. It's sun. The sun, right? When you think happy, you think sun. Michael, when he thinks
Teletubbies would agree.
When he thinks happy, he thinks cold, damp, dark, and staying inside.
This is here. Sunset tonight, 4:09. Should be coming up tomorrow about 9:00.
Yeah, like Michael's ideal picture of weather is what we actually call seasonal depression. That's what we call that usually.
He has responded, I just hate the heat.
You know what?
Yeah,
that's understandable. Okay. Especially when they signed LeBron. I was very anti-heat.
Our boss Mark has
weighed in.
Has checked in.
Does he hate Iowa more than Colorado? While we're at it,
he asked
Couldn't
AI.
Get off the schneid last night.
Still no hits for Mark.
They only got 3 hits last night, by the way.
It's not good. We'll talk more.
It's
about
a bit
that
now, right?
No, they're really that bad.
we talking about the Astros again?
He said, I asked AI to generate a radio host reading the worst take of all time. This is you. And then it's a picture of a man who's talking into a microphone that has the flag that says worst take or worst take. And there is a hamburger and some French fries and a bunch of nonsense on a card.
It's a delicious looking burger.
That looks exactly like me.
His AI machine is wild.
Yeah. It almost looks like 1940s guy or if he had a partner.
Michael has chimed in again. When I think of the sun, I think of squinting. Overcast days do turn me on.
You know what? I'm gonna think about that. When's our next overcast? It's supposed to be 89 on Saturday, so we're gonna just punt on that one.
What are we currently running? Like Omaha sunny days of the year, Omaha days with days of sunshine.
Not a lot lately.
That's usually another thing that people use to like declare the city's happiness. It's like, how happy are you? Okay, how many days of sunshine do you have? Nebraska, according to this website, very reputable, currentresults.com.
Like Wikipedia.
Omaha gets 110 days of sunny weather, 102 days of partly sunny weather, totaling 212 total days with sun.
Okay, 2/3.
About, yeah.
So about 2/3 of the time, Michael Severe is sad.
Now, get the dump button ready. Damon Benning.
Oh,
has responded.
Okay.
I don't understand how people just enjoy being hot and sweaty either.
Depends on the context.
Well, that's true.
Because it's better than the alternative.
Better than being freezing. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it's better than being all bundled up and not being able to breathe. It's just
the air is so.
There's a reason why you couldn't understand Kenny on South Park.
Constricts your lungs.
This doesn't happen if they live in Scottsdale.
Yeah. You can, that's why, because people think of the exact alternative and they're like, yes, this is better because they're normal and they're like, there's sun outside. I can be outside. And
Question
I can do
for
things.
both of them: could they do dry heat? I'm not talking about 120. I'm just saying, like, I don't know,
Phoenix.
Yeah,
a
89 and dry.
A March Phoenix
could they do
day.
that? Yeah,
I don't know.
October game at ASU.
It sounds like they would really not like.
But he did say
in Phoenix.
overcast turns me on, so yeah, I think that answers itself.
Now Charles has found something.
Hi, Charles.
In the comments section on YouTube. Cold weather and butterscotch. Handshake meme.
Yeah, I don't think they speak for all black people.
Whoa, hey.
I don't think so.
I didn't know they were
turn my
black.
mic off.
But, I mean, that was the conversation surrounding butterscotch. That's for sure. James writes in.
Hi, James.
My goodness, does Severe have horns and a pointy tail? Is he a
Wow.
vampire? I always knew there was something different about that cat.
Man, the things that got people triggered today.
Well, weather is a very triggering thing. If you suggest that it should just be cold and wet
I'm learning
all the time and dark,
it'll last you the rest of your life.
That's an
Yeah, Phil
odd
Connors
suggestion
told
to me.
us.
Jesse writes in, I can't believe Damon and Severe finally agree on something. It might be the first and only thing.
We found common ground.
So basically, this crossover has brought people together.
I don't know. Yeah, if you can get behind one of the other of those things, then indeed.
So we can't just pick 75 and sunny.
That's my pick.
Yeah.
That's my pick. But I
we
think,
should ask the kids at the Chuck today. Hey, would you wish it was 27 and windy?
yeah, in this specific case, I'm pitting extreme hot up against extreme cold and give me extreme hot every single time.
Of course, if we're going to cheat, then change the rules and give us all San Diego, which we talked about earlier. That Omaha is the San Diego of the Big Ten, at least until next fall.
But you're in on extreme cold over extreme hot.
No, it just hurts too much.
Okay,
I'll
So-
take the dry heat and.
All right, let me give you.
I have air conditioning, right? I have a pool.
Let me give you humidity 90, not extreme heat, but hot and sunny, and you're sweating a little bit, or 38. No wind, 38, but no sun. It's not sunny.
It's just gray,
Yeah.
38.
Yeah.
Big 8 weather. I'll do the 90 if I get to sit on the beach in Destin.
Okay. Now you're just adding things onto it. But
I mean, we're just gonna.
we're
Now, if I say 38 and overcast, I might end up divorced by the end of this. Like, we're not moving somewhere. It's 38.
But it
and
sounded
overcast.
like you were maybe going toward the.
I'm trying.
chilliness.
Yeah, it just hurts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to do yard work when it's 100 degrees and humid. So
Now, as we say in the Midwest, 38's not that bad if it weren't for the wind.
I
There's
thought
there's
it was
always going to be the wind.
Then they always say we needed the rain.
Michael has chimed in again on YouTube. Skipping summer altogether would be the best thing for me.
Give me the fall. I'll play. Fall gives us football. Let me just stay in fall.
We're not going to skip summer, guys. No, that's not on the table.
That's because your baseball team's having a good year.
I
so
don't even
far.
want to. I haven't even wanted to skip summer since 2017. The Royals have lost 100 games basically every year. I just tune them out and I enjoy the rest of it.
That's true.
It's much more fun that way. It's much more fun. Okay.
Fine. I need to work on my tan anyway, so I don't want to skip summer, which will take me all of about an hour. We're back.
DB, give me 42 degrees, plug, and overcast over 91 and humid.
No,
Michael Severe?
I disagree.
Exactly.
I'm listening.
They're just,
you know what,
just
guys?
agreeing with
Okay,
each other
fine.
in the comments
I'm
right
just,
now.
you know what? Because I feel like I'm kind of on the fence. I'm just going to go with them. 42 in gray at a football game.
What is going on? Who are these people? Josh?
I'll wear a hoodie.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
This is objectively
Hell,
weird.
42.
Right?
I don't even need a coat. I don't even need to warm up the car.
Again,
No, you don't need to start the
Midwestern
car. You don't need to start the car at 42.
Depends on the 42. It could be a warm 42 or a cold 42.
But DB just said,
No,
just
he
overcast,
said
no wind.
No wind.
Oh, no.
Yeah, if the
I will
rain
admit
starts falling, then
that
yeah.
42 overcast, but everything comes with context, right? Because if you get the 42 degree day and no wind,
And not by your mom's
in the
house
middle
either.
of January, then you're like, hell yes, this is the best thing ever. Like that's a great day.
Right.
But if it was always 42 and cloudy and never, basically, maybe we could get into the conversation of the kind of weather that you would least like to have on an every single, like if it was this for an entire year or for your entire life. Which would be
anything with snow and ice. I don't care what anything with that. Never.
Yeah, I'm out. Like I can, obviously everybody's pick is going to be 75 and sunny and all that stuff, unless you're severe and I guess you just hate the sun, which is odd. But I mean, if you're giving me general discomfort on all of them, then yeah, I'll take the heat. I'll take the 90 degrees.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I'll throw on my bucket hat. I'll mow the lawn. The grass is green.
Stay hydrated too. Check the back seat.
I'll be fine. I will definitely check the back
You
seat.
see, you don't have to check the back seat when it's 42 and overcast unless you left dinner back there and you just forgot it. But when it's 90, you have to check the back seat in case you forget your kid, because then they roast.
Just one more thing here, Jimmy, before you go.
This has been a fulfilling crossover. This is great. I didn't know we were going to talk about it.
I got a tweet here from John Rothstein, who I was told is sleeping this entire
Yeah,
time.
it is May.
Yeah.
Sources: Doug Gottlieb has emerged as a serious candidate for the head coaching vacancy at the University of Green Bay. Green Bay.
The Fighting Phoenix.
What?
Wait, are they still called that?
All right, kids, take your uniform, your jersey, and your credit card.
Nice.
Flip them around backwards.
Why
Shorts on
would
backwards.
Why would you be hiring Doug Gottlieb?
Wow, Green Bay to hire shorts on backwards as their coach.
You could definitely,
you know.
You could definitely hire a lot of other people than Doug Gottlieb.
What's Mark Shimura doing? Is he canceled?
Ugh, weird. Anyway, Jimmy, any final thoughts on weather or anything else before Iowa, Colorado, whatever?
Some up here. Nebraska fans should hate Colorado more. 42 degrees and overcast. Okay. But if it's between and painful, then I'll take your heat if I can sit at the beach and enjoy the scenery and seafood.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good summation. Thank
Have
you,
a
Jimmy.
great show. I want to hear this list.
Yeah, I got the
also,
list.
and Nebraska should be in that top 5. Get Michigan out of there. I have nothing against Michigan, but come on. Where are you going to have your ears ringing? Ann Arbor or Lincoln?
Yeah.
Not a bias. That's just fact. If
I'm
you
with you on
watch
that.
college football,
It's not a particularly great environment. Although they have had good teams lately.
And I like the Killers, but I don't know. I like other songs of Mr. Brightside.
That is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha. It's everlevelconcrete.com. It's Tuesday, and we got a busy show. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. You get a lot of junk in your inbox. This one, not junk at all. 1620 The Email. Exclusive content, contests, other stuff probably. Subscribe today at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Plan on hazy sunshine for most of the day Tuesday. Air quality could be impacted as Canadian wildfire smoke settles in across the area. Staying fairly mild with highs in the mid to upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
So Isabella, you're in high school earning college credits?
Tuition-free college credits.
Tuition-free? Your mom's got a...
Love that.
Hey, Maya, hold up. You'll graduate from high school.
But my college gen ed's knocked out. Tuition-free.
That's got to save you and your parents thousands in college tuition. How about you, Ian?
I'll be debt-free thanks to MCC.
Earn college credits while still in high school. Tuition-free. Get started at mccneb.edu/tuition-free. Classes start June 5th.
This is me at MCC.
Memorial Day deals are yours now at Jensen Tire and Auto, including money saver deals on new sets of 4 Goodyear, Continental, General, Cooper, Kelly, and Maxxis tires. AC service too. Click on JensenTireandAuto.com now.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is and has always been locally owned and operated. Now, with 160 employee owners, chances are one of us lives in your neighborhood. We take pride in taking care of you, our customers, and keeping you comfortable all year round. And as always, our technicians don't have sales quotas. When other companies send salespeople, Standard sends qualified technicians. It's just part of.
Carrier, turn to the experts. Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Lindley Clothing can guarantee you will look good, feel good. I just can't fix your golf game. Fantastic golf gear from Peter Millard to Johnny O. Also great tech golf pants from Ballon and golf shoes from Johnson & Murphy. Spring is sprung, and Lindley Clothing and Well Suited is ready to get you ready. Whether it be walking down the aisle, sitting in the audience, or on the 18th hole. Well Suited, perfect option to get great styles for less. And of course, you know the top-notch staff at both Lindley Clothing and Well Suited. They're going to find exactly what you need for that special event. Jack Victor, Bugatti, Samuelson, they've got it all. 132nd and West Dodge in the Linden Market.
Since the April 26 tornado outbreak in Nebraska and Iowa, more than 125 volunteers and staff have mobilized to support relief and recovery efforts. The Red Cross plays a critical role in helping families and communities recover in the weeks and months after a disaster. You can make a difference in the lives of people affected by these disasters. To donate, visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999. Thank you for helping the Red Cross support those affected by the tornadoes.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started Wesley Financial Group to do one thing, help people get out of their timeshare nightmare. When you buy a timeshare, the timeshare company can raise your annual maintenance fees at will. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Want out of your timeshare? Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Josh, coming off of some state baseball yesterday, and now we're state track guys. Look at us. We love the community.
We love high schools.
We love high schools, of course, as we always say.
Helping the youth of America.
Coming up today, we'll have our regular Tuesday chats with Allan Bell and Jacob Bigelow. I suppose we could have brought Mark in to ask him about why he didn't get another hit for the weirdo.
No, I feel that team is getting too much pub.
Yeah, Do you feel like they're winning because we're talking about them? Like, did they live rent free in our heads? Kind of. But
yeah.
I'm really addicted to understanding how they could lose so bad and they could get so few hits in a slow pitch softball game, because it doesn't matter how good the other team is across from you. The pitcher is still throwing it with the sole purpose of you hitting it.
It's not Roger Clemens out there. It's
No.
not Paul Skeens out there just blazing it by you.
No, you always get the same chance to at least hit the ball. So we'll discuss that at 1 o'clock with
Major
Jacob.
Colorado vibes where they're just going to go 0-4 and then we kind of forget they exist.
We will. That's kind of true. Early season Jack Mitchell. It's something that the TV networks are capitalizing on. And we will go through another item on the book tour, Josh, since we love books.
We do.
Here on this show.
We are avid readers, voracious.
Andy McCullough, who covers baseball for The Athletic and has covered the Dodgers over the years, and then going back to the mid-teens, the Kansas City Royals, he did cover at one point. He has written a book. It's very good. I've listened to the first few chapters via audiobook, Josh.
Whoa, Connor.
Yes, I did it while I was gas mowing yesterday. And he wrote a book about Clayton Kershaw, and it is called The Last of His Kind, Clayton Kershaw and the Burden of Greatness. So we'll talk some baseball with Andy, and I will probably ask him about just general thoughts and feelings about the Royals too. I don't know, maybe I'll ask if they're back.
Feels like the conversation might be headed that way.
I don't want to make the whole interview about the Royals. But
okay.
They will definitely. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is a really interesting topic. I didn't even realize a lot of this stuff about that
he went to the same high school as.
I did realize that part.
Okay,
I did. By the way, if you were looking to check off that box, and if you're going to listen to or read Andy's book, which I would suggest that you do, the box is checked. How early do they mention Matt Stafford? Chapter 1.
Yeah, immediately.
Not immediately, like toward the end of chapter 1.
Okay.
It's in there right away.
Sure.
But Clayton Kershaw is a really interesting. I mean, we're just kind of used to him being there, being good. Obviously, he's become a bit of a different topic over the last handful of years because of his lack of postseason success. So there's that piece of it. But I didn't realize, I guess, how much of a freak he is. He's so I mean, basically it's the story about how much pressure, I mean, the burden of greatness.
Sure.
It's how much pressure he puts on himself to be good on every fifth day, and basically how much of a lack of he's not very pleasant to be around on game day. As evidenced by he told a really good story in I think it was either in the prologue or the first chapter of the book, where he is set up to start for the Dodgers. And as happens sometimes, celebrities will come by and they'll drop into the locker room and they'll take pictures and everybody gets excited about this. Baseball players, they don't get the opportunity to rub elbows with big time A-list celebrities very much. And so celebrity walks in, but he happened to walk in on Clayton Kershaw's start day.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's very, very excited. And the celebrity, who ended up being Samuel L. Jackson,
Nick Fury
tried to say hello to Clayton Kershaw and was not met with pleasantries.
I believe Kershaw said, "Say what again?"
And then Clayton got very, very angry at the person who had scheduled this appearance by Samuel L. Jackson in the locker room on the day he was supposed to start.
That's the person you need to be mad at, not Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. So,
or just be a pleasant person all the time.
It's really good. It's out right now. We'll talk to Andy in the noon hour. The lineup
sent us a digital copy. I'm gonna have to look into this.
I would read it, or you can listen to it. Like I don't have much time to just sit down and read, so I'm sometimes I'm doing other stuff. And it was a great Gasmo book yesterday.
Easy.
It'll be my Gasmo book for a while, I think. So that's the lineup. Powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys? 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. You can hit us up there. You can hit us up on Twitter, on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Happer Show, at Connor Happer. You can email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com in the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streaming audience. Hi, everybody. If you notice our state track gear, we love state track. Absolutely.
It's coming. Are you ready?
1620 The Zone TV on YouTube, or conveniently located on our website, 1620thezone.com. We'd also like to thank Michael Severe for his take that led to a good 20 minutes on the crossover. So we appreciate Michael.
Sometimes you just got to put yourself out there and let the people do with it what they will.
Exactly. And that's what he did. Just like yesterday when I decided to finally tell people a take that I've long had, which is that the 3 and out bones are stupid. And I mean, it was, it gets personal very quickly when you call out the 3 and out bones on Twitter, Josh. Oh man, I got killed yesterday for that take.
Well,
several responses just demeaning me.
You've attacked, whether it's stupid or not, it's something the fan base holds near and dear to their hearts, and you've attacked it.
Just do the regular bones.
They're gonna get defensive and they're gonna get back on their heels and go, no, bald.
Or you could do the 3 and out bones on the first 3. If the possession, Nebraska comes out on defense and they got him at a 3rd and 12, then you could do the 3 and out bones. No more 3 and out bones after that. You don't have to do a 3 and out bones. Like if Wisconsin comes in and they get a 12-play, 86-yard drive going and they got a 3rd down and 1 from your 8-yard line, it's not time for the 3 and out bones. That's not a 3 and out.
Preaching to the
That's
choir
just a
here.
regular bones time.
Uh-huh.
But yet the misuse of the 3 and out bones is really the thing that bothers me the most. Anyway,
I agree. A lot of people who watch football are stupid.
And during there's a bunch of other stuff that we're going to get into as well, including MLB reaction, overreaction coming up here in just a few minutes. I have the definitive list of the biggest Nebraska football hype home games since 2004.
This is big, Connor.
I got 12 for you. Probably could have been 15. We'll go through those during the show today. Lisa Bluter announces her retirement.
Sad to see her go.
You seem very broken up about it.
She was great fodder for the show.
NFL schedule leaks, which I guess we're not allowed to call leaks anymore.
Oh, the insiders are mad that you're using the L word.
Don't call them leaks. They're just telling people at this. Well, it's not official, so we're just going to keep calling them leaks. All right. On that subject, we now know where Tom Brady's first assignment will be.
Ooh.
I have a take. We'll get to that.
I'd love to hear it
during the show today, and a couple other things around sports as well. We're getting college football game times all over the place as well, along with stops in from Allan Bell, Andy McCullough, and Jacob Bigelow. Like I said, I want to hear from you guys on the show today. Ooh, okay, what do we get into first here? Do you want to do Lisa Bluter right off the bat?
Never.
Do you want to talk about Lisa Bluter?
Okay,
right off of the bat. Well, many people are saying, it's how convenient of her to leave right when Caitlin Clark leaves.
I did mention that when talking about it with a colleague yesterday.
There seems to be this kind of, it's definitely low hanging fruit in that regard.
I am not opposed to low hanging fruit.
So is Iowa women's basketball like a big brand, or is that just solely tied to Caitlin Clark? Because I don't know that anybody. Now this is going to get really offensive if you're an Iowa fan, so you just stay tuned for the blasphemy, I suppose. Like, I don't know that anybody who is just casually watching college sports, cared about college sports, really even knew about Lisa Bluter up until 4 years ago. Like, I don't know, Caitlin Clark kind of put her on the map.
Yes.
Now, should we have known more? She's been a great coach for a long time. Iowa women's basketball has been at least a good program for a long time. But I don't know, like, is Iowa women's basketball such a brand that it's this big deal when, she's handing it over to like, I've never viewed her that way as far as we view coaches in the sport. You know, and even in that sport, you know, we think about Pat Summitt and Jen Auriemma and Don Staley. Like I do not think of Lisa Bluter in that category, but that's
definitely
just me.
a tier down at least.
Yeah.
But they're and this is maybe not what you're talking about specifically, but I do think there's a large segment of people who, well, I started watching women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark, and I liked it, and I still want to watch it, and they just kind of gravitate. Well, I was the team that I watched first,
right?
So
Lisa
I'll like
Bluter's
them.
responsible for this.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I think she's a good coach, and she'll be missed. Now, if she hands it off to her top assistant, and I don't know that much will change. And
After they get a player, the Villanova gal out of the
Lucy Olson,
portal.
yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know her name.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be fine. They're going to be good next year. But it obviously will take on a bit of a different light. They'll not be the traveling road show that they have been over. At least I don't think. I'll be curious to see Iowa's reception on the road next year in the post Caitlin Clark era, and now the post Lisa Bluter era. Obviously, when they come to Lincoln, it's not going to be, you know, as much of a absolute festival as it was a year ago when she almost didn't play because she was a little sick. I get the black lung.
Caitlin Clark was dying, and she went out there.
Yeah, she played. That's the burden of greatness, if I've ever seen it. It's the burden of greatness. She's got a little bit of that to her. She's not there anymore, though. I don't know if you've heard this. She's in the WNBA now.
Tonight. 7-point dog.
People are going to watch the WNBA now. Some
Disney
of that audience
Plus.
will be transferred over to the WNBA.
It's about damn time.
So I don't know where that leaves Iowa women's basketball, but I definitely don't think of them as this giant brand in the sport.
I don't think so. And look, we went through that whole discussion without making a protocol joke.
Are you sure?
No.
Hot Danger writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Hot Danger.
Big Ten protocols. Big Ten protocols. Will anyone think of the Big Ten protocols? So speak for yourself, Josh. That we didn't go through that conversation without saying protocol.
We went a really long time, and
You know,
that's growth.
That part was conveniently left out of the ESPN Plus documentary.
Oh, really? It was. They didn't go into that.
They did not. They did not spend any time on what happened afterwards, rather than Caitlin Clark getting weirdly mad, but almost like performative mad. You know, it's
interesting because, and football fan, listen up. ESPN could have made Nebraska the villain in that episode by they went against protocol and started the press conference and didn't.
It turns out that it actually wasn't that big of a deal that they started the press conference, because I think ESPN probably they understood that. By the way, watching the MLB Network in here,
American Treasure.
So here's a topic that Chris Russo is giving us this afternoon.
If you think we deviate from sports and you get mad, this is MLB Network, people.
He's been talking about this for multiple minutes now. He's got a This Day in Baseball, segment. And what he used for May 14th was he went back to 1998. That was the day that Frank Sinatra died at age 82.
Here's a picture of him with Joe DiMaggio, so it counts as baseball.
Now they have a list of his number one. They have a list of his Billboard number one hits up there, which is great.
People sleep on something stupid.
This is awesome. Mad Dog is great. Mad Dog is
Treasure.
He's really so perfect for television.
Career renaissance.
He's going to talk about whatever it is he wants to talk about. May 14th, 1998, Frank Sinatra died. All right. We'll come back. Why don't we squeeze in a little MLB reaction, overreaction, wake up writers.
Oh, we're squeezing it. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it here.
A squeeze play?
A bit of a squeeze play, if you will. Of course, we will jump into Baseball Savant Corner.
And talk about Frank Sinatra's death.
We will not talk about Frank Sinatra during this segment. I don't know. He may come up naturally, as he usually does during the 4-hour sports talk radio show. Back with that when we return. It is a Tuesday edition of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Let's go on a fishing trip you will be talking about for years. The best walleye fishing trip ever. Join me, Crash Davis. We're going to travel to the walleye capital of the world, September 15th through the 19th aboard a deluxe motor coach. Travel with me to Ballard's Resort on Lake of the Woods. Pricing includes round-trip motor coach transportation, 4 nights lodging, 3 days of fully guided walleye fishing, and all of our meals. Go fishing with me, Crash. Your best trip ever. Sign up at ballardsresort.com. ballardsresort.com. And set the hook.
I'll do the Caesar salad.
And for you, sir?
I'd like to buy a vowel.
Excuse me?
Sorry. He's just excited about the Nebraska Lottery's Wheel of Fortune promotion.
Is there a W?
Snap out of it.
Oh, sorry, Vanna.
Hannah?
Right. I'd like to solve the puzzle.
He'll have the Caesar salad, too.
Enter any non-winning $5 Wheel of Fortune scratch ticket online for a chance to win a trip to Los Angeles, tickets to a Wheel of Fortune taping, and at least $2,000. Wheel of Fortune top prize odds, 1 in 112,000.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE-certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hey, Omaha, on the hunt for tickets to the next big event? Look no further than ticketsforless.com. Offering transparent, upfront pricing and stellar customer service, Tickets for Less ensures you're always going to score the best deal on your tickets. Shop online, swing by their store, 145th and West Center, or give them a ring at 402-398-1999. Plus, snag 10% off when you register on their free mobile app. Already a user? No problem. Just enter the promo code THEZONE for instant savings at ticketsforless.com. Secure your seats and save big today with Tickets for Less.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Host is roasting every morning.
Host Coffee Services stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call us today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, they said, Connor, why don't you do an MLB reaction overreaction segment every week? You do NFL. I like that segment. Why don't you do MLB? And I said, well, I think it was Al in Minneapolis. I said, Al, here's the deal. Our writers do not want to work. It feels like they're always on strike. They're always up to something. And they're never doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're slacking off.
They sit in that bullpen all afternoon long, just doing God knows what on those couches.
Mm-hmm.
Hooking up, probably.
Hooking up on the couches. That's what our writers are doing.
Yep.
And so it's difficult to lure the writers off of their couches in which they're hooking up on, Josh.
Hey, would you rather hook up or work?
I have decided that it's worth it's worthwhile for me to go through the pain and agony of trying to get those writers off of the couch and back into their writers' rooms. And so MLB Reaction Overreaction is born, and now it's on its third week. And so we're in a bit of a groove now, Josh. We're moving.
We have figured out that to lure the writers off of the couches, all we had to do was bring food over to like the desks where the computers are.
Yep. Giant pizza. It works every time.
Yep.
Works every time. So what do the writers have for us today?
We begin. We are about 25% of the way through the season. Nobody with a sub 500 record will make the postseason.
Okay. That sounds a little blasphemous, doesn't it? It's only May 14th.
Right.
It's only May 14th.
We are about to hit the quarter pole, though.
So you're talking about anybody with a top with a sub 500 record? Let's go back to a season ago. Last year, there were 14 teams below 500 through May 13th. We are through May 13th right now. Of those 14 teams, just one of them made the playoffs. That team was the Miami Marlins, who were 19-21 and got in as the NL's 5 seed. Through May 13th last year, we're almost at the quarter pole, like you said. Some teams are past it, some teams are short of it. Through May 13th last year, the order of teams in the American League went as such. Tampa Bay, remember Tampa Bay got off to that great start last year.
Oh, yeah, like 20-0 or something.
Baltimore, Texas, Toronto, the Yankees, Boston, and Minnesota. The Yankees and Red Sox did not end up making the playoffs last year. All of those other teams did. Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Texas, Toronto, and Minnesota. So that gave us 5 of our AL teams, and Houston was not 500, or was above 500, sorry, but they were not in that top 6. They were right there. And that was our AL playoff field a year ago. Last year on this day, the NL order when you woke up on May 14th was Atlanta, the Dodgers, Milwaukee, Arizona, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. Every one of those teams besides the Pirates made it. Flip them for Miami, and you have your NL 6. So, whether or not you'd like to believe it, this is no longer, as young Jake Eisenberg told us last week, it's no longer just a flash. This is reality. What you are at this point during the season is not necessarily what you are, but you have put yourself in a position to be in contention if you are there through the quarter pole of the season. If you are buried and if you are way sub 500, it is likely that you are toast, and it is early May. What do we always say in NFL Reaction Overreaction, Josh? I know it's week 2, but we're kind of far along. Like all this stuff matters. So I'm looking at the standings right now, and we go to the American League. If we use that criteria, the following teams are quote unquote eliminated. The Toronto Blue Jays, who've started 19-22.
Interesting.
The Chicago White Sox, I think it's fair to check them off. The Oakland Athletics, I think we could check them off too, even though they started off pretty well. The Houston Astros are 16-25. Everybody's sitting around. We're waiting for Houston. But maybe this is just what they are. And the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are all below 500 in the AL. In the NL, we have Washington, New York, Miami, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Arizona, San Francisco, and Colorado. A few of those teams I'd feel comfortable with checking off at this point, like Colorado.
There are only 6 teams in the National League above 500. But excuse me, there are only 5 teams above 500. The Padres are 500.
And so maybe those are the teams that we're dealing with. I think you can, at this point, we have 12. I mean, we have 12 playoff teams in baseball, which is, too many. We'll get to that later. But like too many teams in the playoffs. That's okay. But I think you could pretty much you could lop off at least 10 teams that are just done. We could play that game right now. So Washington, the Marlins, the Cardinals, the Rockies.
The Reds.
The Reds, maybe. I kind of like them this year, but
I think the Reds are good for like a 9-game winning streak at some point.
Yeah,
in
so
the
we'll
summer,
keep the
and
Reds.
then-
We'll keep the Reds in for now, even though they're below 500. I'm not going to lop off Toronto yet, so I'm not going to take it off anybody in the AL East.
Even though history would tell you, I mean, Toronto's last place in the division.
Yeah, and they're 7.5 games out. Baltimore's really, really good. The White Sox are, toast, and the Angels, and I wouldn't hesitate much to put the Astros in that conversation right now. I just gave you 7 and maybe 8 with the Reds. They're all done. Sorry. If you're a fan of one of those teams, sorry. You know who I didn't mention, Josh? The Kansas City Royals.
You didn't.
Because it's important that we note this is a it's a marathon, but it's very rare that you're going to be able to, over a really long stretch of time, play, way over 500 baseball. If we're talking about from now until the end of the season, 75% of the season left, those teams that are way sub 500 are going to have to play way above 500 baseball. It's just hard to do. So you've created yourself a hole. On the other side, for the team like look at the AL Central, right? Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City, those three. Like if you play 500 baseball the rest of the way, you're on pace for the mid to high 80s in terms of wins, and that's always what we thought was going to get you into the playoffs in the AL Central, right? So it's an important moment. I don't know that I would go that far and say nobody sub 500 is going to make the playoffs at this time, but I was curious to look at last year and see that there was only one team that was sub 500 on May 14th that made the playoffs. One.
If I had to pick one, it would probably be the Diamondbacks.
Who are what? A game under right now?
20-22.
Yeah. So I kind of thought that they were a really good candidate for regression this year, but Corbin Carroll started turning on a little bit. I don't know if I had to pick one team that's sub 500 right now that I feel like could make the playoffs. I kind of feel like Boston's going to fall out, and then Toronto will figure something out. I think the Mets are probably a candidate for this, much to Josh Odson's chagrin.
Okay.
The
Mets.
And maybe the Diamondbacks as well. Even the Reds, like we mentioned, who are 7 games under 500 right now, are, I think, still a relatively well-rounded team. In Pittsburgh, who's only 4 games under 500 at the moment. So it's an important thing to note. We're down the road here a little bit.
A little bit.
If you put yourself in position, you are in position.
Take number 2, data. Swinging hard equals hitting good.
Yeah, so this thought process and this stat debuted on Sunday Night Baseball between the Mets and the Braves the other night. And they had Mike Petriello on, and he talked about this new data that baseball is introducing with their StatCast tracking, and it's swing speed. And so I'm looking at the StatCast bat tracking leaders. There's a couple things that go into this. It's not only swing speed, but it's also bat accuracy, basically, is what it ends up being. The percentage of time that you get the barrel on the baseball. You don't have to swing hard to get the barrel on the ball. In fact, probably in a lot of cases, the harder you swing, the less you're getting the barrel on the baseball, unless you're a couple outliers. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 names here. None of these should be surprises to anybody if you watch baseball. The slowest swing speed, but the best bat accuracy, the squared up percentage. That is Luis Ariz. He hits singles all the time. That's what he does. The highest bat speed with a pretty low average of squared up percentage is a guy that I loathe, Giancarlo Stanton.
This guy.
Giancarlo Stanton. He's either going to hit a home run 120 miles an hour out of the ballpark off someone's head, or he's going to miss the baseball entirely. A guy that swings hard and squares it up a lot, Juan Soto, O'Neal Cruz. Those guys in that category,
those are good baseball players,
should not surprise you at all. And there's a whole bunch of guys that are really good in the middle. I think the lesson here with this stuff, and we like to take these stats and twist them whichever way. And I think you look at them and you think, oh, the best hitters in baseball all have the fastest swing speeds. That's not true either. I think the lesson here is to do what works for you. Luis Arraez is never going to hit 50 dongs in his career, right? He goes with what he has, and his ability to hit singles is his superpower. Now, it's the only thing he does, which is, a problem. But hey, if you got the ability to stay in the league and hit 300 for however many consecutive years, then do that. It keeps Whit Merrifield is the same way.
Right.
He adds defensive utility and he gets the bat on the baseball. He doesn't strike out very much. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I saw this story yesterday come out in The Athletic, and it was basically wondering out loud if there was a correlation in, we talk about the stress that pitchers put on themselves when they're using such high energy. What are we talking about in pitching now? We're talking about spin rates, right? How do you spin it hard? You throw it hard. You're using all of the torque that is possible in your body to throw the baseball as hard as you possibly can. It has resulted, not solely, but it has resulted in a lot of injuries via pitchers. We've talked about that on the show before. I wonder if the next thing is the correlation in injuries for guys who swing wildly hard. A good example is the guy who swings the hardest, Giancarlo Stanton, who seems to have a difficult time staying healthy.
Interesting.
A lot. And there was a couple people in baseball thought that, who had the idea of guys are going to get obliques, because they're swinging so hard.
Braves have already had 2 or 3 guys go down this year with oblique injuries.
Do what works for you. And I think you use the whole tackling and practice method as well. If you were going to swing hard in games, you better swing hard in practice to get yourself prepared to swing hard in games. Right. And so I think all that matters here. And then there's an element of luck involved in it as well. But I think that's probably the next big thing we're talking about in baseball with, us. We've obviously moved quite a bit toward 3 true outcomes and stuff like that, guys striking out, hitting home runs. So wild swingers. I think the next thing that we're probably going to be talking about is what is the damage that they're doing to their bodies in a long-term scenario if they're swinging so hard all the time. And the answer is, just like it is in pitching, there is no right answer. You have to kind of do what works for you.
And nerd alert here. I was listening to Eric O'Flaherty on a podcast.
Hello, Josh.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
And he was talking about how, to become a great high school baseball player, you have to have, everybody talks about specialization of skill now. And then to get to college, you have to have an even more refined specialization of skills. And to get to the major leagues, you got to fine it down again. And now in the big leagues, guys don't run sprints in the outfield anymore. The only thing a pitcher does every single day is try to throw the baseball as hard as he can.
It's a great, Clayton Kershaw, who we'll talk about later in the show, is great evidence of this and what has happened to his body as his age has gotten more advanced.
And he talks about, these ligaments are going to pop, these obliques are going to pop. Do you see the guys countering that by doing steroids again? Interesting. Because they want to get their money. And to get your money, you got to stay on the field. And can I power through an oblique injury if I start jabbing needles into my butt?
Interesting. That's definitely the next level. Maybe if you're going to go there. Okay, Riders. What else?
Nike, in the first step in fixing its horrible uniform snafu of 2024, will go back to regular home and away uniforms for the All-Star teams in Texas in July.
Thank you for writing this question, Riders. You're projecting a dream of mine on this.
Sure seems like a Connor Happer pipe dream.
I may have had some effect on writing this question. I may have just passed this along to the Riders somewhere along the way. I I don't think they're going to do this, but this is a dream that I have. If Nike wants to say we're fixing this, what they would do is not have god awful, horrible, and what they've been doing, and they snuck one through us last year in Seattle. They used the same uniform technology that they're using all throughout baseball this year in the All-Star game last year. Right. It's not just the fact that the jerseys look stupid and they look like a slow pitch softball team. It was the same material and type of uniforms that they're using throughout baseball this year, which everyone, including the Players Association, unanimously, players, coaches, whatever, people who watch the game have always said, or have now said, these suck. We have to get rid of this. And Nike has agreed, okay, this will be fixed by 2025. So maybe you throw out a little bone to the people and you have those beautiful home white American League uniforms in the All-Star game in Texas and the road grays for the NL squad members in Texas, representing each of the individual teams that they play on. It is a pipe dream that I have, but I do believe this is an overreaction because they will not do it, because Major League Baseball will come up with some, and Nike will come up with some god-awful, ridiculous design, just as they have done for all the City Connect uniforms, and they will try to show that off as if it's cool or something like that.
Everybody's going to look like a damn cowboy in this game.
I don't know what they're going to dress them up as, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they all try to make them look like Woody.
Just a great visual.
Something like that at Globo Gym Stadium, which is a disaster of a baseball field.
It is. Why was Texas awarded this thing?
I don't know. Atlanta's getting it next year, though.
That's right. Next take.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens throws too hard, too often to stay healthy long term.
Josh?
He's been a pitcher for
2 years.
Yeah. And
I mean, really, a pitcher only for 2 years.
Yeah. Boy, it's fun to watch him pitch. It's fun to watch him average over 100 miles an hour in his outing on Saturday. You can schedule that appointment with the doctor in Texas now.
He is a giant horseman, as we've discussed before. So I think his body is it's sort of trained to take stuff like this. But you're right, over a period of time. Now, I hate to predict injuries, but I mean,
I don't want it to happen. Also, the writers wrote this.
When he pitches, does it look like he's throwing as hard as he can? Does it look like he's throwing with every ounce of what he has? Some pitchers it does.
Yeah.
I think in Skeen's case, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
It looks like he's ripping it. And so that's where you probably, just as we were talking about with hitters and guys who swing hard, you're going to bump into a few things here and there. He stayed healthy throughout his college career. And so far they've, this is another reason why I don't really appreciate how they've managed the innings with him at the minor league level, just to get the most out of him at the major league level. Like, you build a guy up and it takes this period of time just to go let the guy pitch. I think we're going to see, hopefully, a shift toward this where they just go let the guy pitch. And then if the TJ comes, then it, if the Tommy John monster, if the grim Tommy John comes to your doorstep, then that's a bridge that you cross when you get there. You want to be preventative. Like you want to manage guys, especially that big of investments, the way, the best way you can. But we've probably gone a little bit too far with that in baseball. And especially considering now we've seen many examples of guys who have been managed that way and then go on to pitch in the major leagues and they still get hurt.
Spencer Strider. Yeah. He does literally everything you can do to prepare your body for what he's doing. And the ligament still.
You can do all the yoga and crap you want.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Get your thighs to look like tree trunks so it can stabilize your body.
You are still doing something that's very, 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 very hard on the body. Yep. And it's hard to it's hard to avoid that. Like that's your livelihood. That's your job.
I'd like to see him be taught a little more like command and placement, and I'd love for an old timer to go up to him, just popping out of the seams of his uniform and go, "Kid, you need to be able to hit the left side of a gnat's ass in that zone."
But I don't want to see him throw any less than 102.
That's right.
Because I want to watch that guy throw peas at the plate at everybody. That's for sure. All right, let's head to the Baseball Savant Corner.
Ooh.
Check the leaderboards here before we get out of this segment. Cooper Criswell of the Boston Red Sox currently
I don't know this person.
Currently leads baseball. You're going to want to know him. He leads baseball in pitch tempo.
Pitch tempo.
Pitch tempo. He pitches a baseball once every 11.2 seconds.
Oh, okay. He's the Oregon football of Major League Baseball.
Yes. On the other side, the Iowa of Major League Baseball, or the, whatever, I don't know, Army, Navy, something like that. Yuki Matsui of the San Diego Padres is last place in that same category. He only throws a pitch every 19.7 seconds.
Wait, what's the pitch clock?
It is 20, but
it's
remember
20?
This is from hand to hand. This is from when it comes at it, the pitch clock resets when you get the ball back, or when the pitch hits the catcher's glove or something like that. So it's not exact on the pitch clock time. It's just from hand to hand. So 19.7 seconds for Yuki Matsui.
Amazing that the difference between the slowest and fastest is just 8.5 seconds.
I was going to say, I shudder. I would be very alarmed to read you this list had we no pitch clock. If we didn't have a pitch clock, it'd be above 25 seconds for the lowest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Elsewhere in the Baseball Savant Corner, St. Louis Cardinals shortstop Mason Wynn.
I know him.
Has thrown the hardest baseball defensively this year.
Ooh.
The hardest non-pitcher throw went at 101.2 miles an hour across the infield.
Okay.
Just a little healthy stat there. And let's go. Speaking of that pitch clock, infractions. The Pittsburgh Pirates lead baseball in pitch timer infractions. They have 15 of them, Josh. 15 of them.
Feels like a lot.
They've had 11 by their pitchers and 4 by their hitters. The lowest in baseball, everyone has at least one. The Royals and the A's each have 1. Those would be least infractions in the league. Baseball Savant Corner comes through for us every single time.
Baseball.
Thank you. Thank you, Riders. Appreciate it. You can go back to hooking up on the couch now. Yeah. Whatever it is you do.
It's like Studio 54 out there.
It's wild. Allan Bell will join us at the bottom of the hour. Still plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil. A tornado or a thunderstorm doing damage to your home or business can certainly be a real punch to the gut, but whatever nature can destroy can be rebuilt. Langfeld Overhead Doors stand ready to help. If your garage door was damaged by the storm, call Langfeld Overhead Doors to repair or replace it. With Langfeld, you get a local family-owned company, not some fly-by-night operators. The Langfelds are a family with deep roots in the community and a well-earned reputation for integrity and honesty. Go to langfelddoors.com.
It's time to spring into performance in a new Acura from Acura of Omaha. While they last, choose from 50 new Acuras in stock: Integras, TLXs, RDXs, and MDXs. Acura of Omaha, always open at AcuraofOmaha.com.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Look at this. I guess CBS Sports is diving into their coach rankings already.
Whoa.
That's
hello.
right.
This is important, everybody.
The first installment of the coach rankings is out.
What conference? Top 25? What Big 10?
So they
Big
do
12?
all the Power Four.
I don't love that phrase, but I understand what you
You're
mean.
gonna have to get
when you
used to
say
it because the two that got left out of the Power Four are now playing on the CW.
That's true. That's a real thing.
So this is all the power coaches. Let's just say power coaches ranked from 68 to 1. Today's installment, 68 to 26.
No way Matt Rule's in that batch.
No way. Not a path, Josh. He is. He is indeed in this batch.
Oh.
Yeah. Didn't quite make the top 25. Number 29.
Respectable. Okay.
Down 2 spots from last year.
Oh.
He says in his first season at Temple, Matt Rule went 2-10. His first year at Baylor saw the team go 1-11. By those metrics, a 5-7 record at Nebraska in year 1 is impressive. Though the situation in Lincoln wasn't nearly as rough as the first 2 jobs that he inherited. What Nebraska fans are most excited about is that Rule saw a big jump in wins in his second season at both schools, and the hope is that he'll do the same at Nebraska. If he does, you could be sure he'll be ranked a lot higher than this next spring. Yeah. I mean, if Nebraska wins like 8 games this year, then we're talking about a top, 15, 20 coach in the country. That's just the way it goes.
That seemed to be all that their description of Matt Rule was, just win games.
Yep, that's pretty much a story, and that's what you'll see when guys move in and out of the top 25 of this list as well. Let's I got one NFL thing here. So as the schedule leaks, I know we're not allowed to call them that.
Wow, you rube.
Sorry, NFL elite media. Fox was having their mean, basically, it's the equivalent of like when Apple releases the new iPhone. I would think they call it like the first look. It was basically a Fox event yesterday where they tell people what's coming up for the upcoming year. Michael Strahan surprised Tom Brady, was giving a little speech at the event. Tom Brady will now be working for Fox, doing color with Kevin
Burkhardt.
Kevin Burkhardt, thank you. And Michael Strahan showed up and surprised Tom Brady and said, "Here's going to be your first assignment." I have a take about this, but listen to it first because I think it drives home part of what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Here he is.
I know you've been waiting to call your first game. Yeah. And I got a little something for you, man. I got some big news. It's huge news because I have a little something that you don't even know. The NFL schedule isn't out yet, but I know a little something about your first game.
Are you going to tell me?
Maybe I will. You want to know?
I want to know.
You want to know?
Damn right I want to know.
All right, drum roll, please. For the first time in 5 years, the NFL on Fox opens with the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be your first game. And also another thing, week 1 is back to being an exclusive doubleheader window for Fox. So how do you like that news? You get to the Cowboys first week.
Amazing. Obviously, having the Cowboys on is a huge draw. As America's team, that's going to get a little hard for me to say that all the time. I understand they were the competition for a long time. But in this new role, I know the Cowboys, how important they are to this network. They got great storylines. Come on, Dak Prescott. Let's see if he can finally come through. One of the great defensive players. Did that just slip out? Micah Parsons, what a great player he is.
Okay.
And Coach McCarthy. So I love covering them. I've been obviously going against them for a long time, and now I get to tell everyone how great they are.
Oh, I really like what you do.
Wow, that was truly terrible. All of it.
So here's my take. I don't think Tom Brady's going to be good at this. I straight up do not think Tom Brady's going to be very good at this.
I have changed my opinion on this over the last 3 or 4 months, and I agree with you. Please continue.
I think you'll allow me to continue. Thank you.
Yes.
I think there's a variety of different things that are working, against him here. Part of it is just that you're Tom Brady. I think that when you're that famous, you unfortunately get into the situation where you're pretty isolated, right? It's your camp. Tom Brady doesn't. Like, does Tom Brady have relationships with anybody that aren't expatriates? That isn't like Julian Edelman? Like, who knows Tom Brady?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows Tom Brady? And so when they come in for the production meetings and stuff like that, like, it's just hard for me to imagine Tom Brady sitting around being one of the guys.
Yeah.
You know,
just being able to chop it up.
He's almost turned into like the NFL's version of like the president. It's just different. You're always sort of on guard when he's there. You know, and I think part of what they did with the roast was try and make him a little bit more personable. Mm-hmm. But even that was sort of antiquated in a way. I don't think anybody has stories about Tom Brady. I don't think he's one of the guys. I don't think Kevin Burkhardt will be able to like mess with them. I think the chemistry will be really weird. I just don't think it'll sound good. There's that. And I think you just heard some of that in that clip. And then there's also what we're coming from, which is a thing that everybody unanimously loved, which was Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen. And I think there will be a very sharp response from people, which will be like, why did we give up Greg Olsen for this? Mm-hmm. Like, I appreciate Tom Brady's point of view. I get it. Another thing that Tom Brady does all the time is that he, as you just heard in that clip, he makes it about himself. Like, it's nice to know that you're a, whatever 6-time Super Bowl champion and multi-time Super Bowl MVP. And like, we all know the story. I don't need to hear that during the broadcast all the time. I remember when we were going up against the Cowboys in 04 or what, like, I don't need to hear that. I just need to hear that you know the game and you've talked to the people that are involved in the game and you have a general idea of what's about to happen in the paths for each of the teams to win the game and like what they need to be doing. I just need to know that piece of it. And with Tom Brady, like, It doesn't feel like he'll be able to work himself into the crowds and into the locker rooms that he needs to be in order to, like, we want our broadcasters to sound like humans. We want them to sound personal. Tom Brady is only half human now. He's really not. That's both a face work joke and a real joke. He's not a human.
I question if he's going to actually break down the defense in the time allotted.
Yeah.
And is he going to put in the prep of, I heard Boog Shambi talking about this on a podcast. Again, I Am a Nerd.
Baseball podcast.
He said Tom Brady can't just say, oh, the mic is dropping back. Like, he has to know that person's name. And is he going to be able to rattle off every Mike linebacker in the NFL?
No, doesn't strike me as a football junkie.
Right.
As weird as that is to say for a guy that we talked about his incessant preparation and all that stuff, he never really struck me as toward the end of his career, especially, like I said at the beginning, I think he just kind of became isolated. He was his own thing, and it was up to the team. It was their responsibility to put the people around him that made sense. I never got the sense that he was this awesome teammate. Maybe his teammates would tell you differently. Maybe they would tell you that he's, maybe we should call Levante David. Levante David was on stage at the roast. I thought that was kind of surprising. What's Levante David doing up there? We called Levante David and say, how many interactions did you have with Tom Brady? It wouldn't surprise me if he said 4. He was his teammate for 2 years.
I think that this could be a lot like Magic Johnson coaching the Lakers, where a lot of people in the Lakers orbit tell stories of day in, day out, Magic Johnson would yell at the players, why aren't you just better?
Right.
It's just so easy for Magic Johnson, and football's just so easy for Tom Brady that it would be frustrating for him to watch lesser competition.
A couple takes from you guys. Here's Brandon on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
Hi, Brandon.
Making it about me. Isn't that what Troy Aikman's done for years?
Boy,
he's gotten away from that a little bit.
But he's taken a Wilbon-esque path in life as of late, where he's just kind of an angry old man right now.
He's got some takes about things. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
On Twitter. He says, Tom Brady's voice is very annoying. I'm sure his goofy smile will be unwatchable.
You don't have to see his smile very much. Maybe
I can't see
5 or 6 times a game.
To that point, I don't know. I don't see him and Kevin Burkhardt be you know what they do when broadcast crews got on the road? They go out to dinner, they hang out with each other, go to the hotel room, open up the mini bar. Is Tom Brady going to do that?
No,
he's not.
Hey, Kevin, it's 8:30. I got to go to bed.
I don't he doesn't strike me as a guy who has many real life personal interactions with anybody. And I think part of doing the roast was trying to,
I'm a human.
Yeah, you could make fun of me.
I'm cool.
And then he just kind of sat there and seemed kind of offended by the whole thing, which it was the entire purpose of the whole deal. Aaron said,
hi, Aaron,
on the text line, he said, well, basically what you just said, but I'll read his first take. He says, I have a take. Fox getting rid of Olsen for Brady is going to be something that will be mentioned as a dumb move in social media by about week 8, going to turn out to be annoying for the audience. I don't care who calls the games, just call them well. I agree. I completely and totally agree. As I said before, it just
outside of week 1 or week 2, let's see what the Tom Brady game is this week. That's not why we tune in.
Also, I like this from Drunk Monk.
Hi, Drunk Monk.
Is Tom Brady AI?
Sounds like a great
He very well could be.
Yeah. Jeffrey right under that says we question Tony Romo as well. And I think that's the best case scenario.
Romo always had a personality though.
I think Tony Romo is
Tom Brady. If you put Tom Brady in the chair 15 years ago, then it's different, right? Because he hadn't quite grown into he had a supermodel wife who he got divorced from, right? Not that you're immediately exempt from the conversation if you do that, but his status has grown to a level that is far beyond broadcaster or NFL man. He's not I almost think Tom Brady. I don't think of the NFL anymore. Yeah. It's just Tom Brady, the person.
There's a reason Peyton Manning ain't in the booth.
Right.
He's above it.
Yeah.
But
Peyton could do it.
Peyton could do it. And
he's got a personality.
And don't get me wrong. Like, what was Tom Brady supposed to say? No, thank you to $350 million or whatever they paid him. Like,
he immediately made it about him. Mm-hmm. And this is just a piece of evidence that it's not the only thing, but I mean, he immediately made it about him and then just said, oh yeah, Dak Prescott, and didn't even tell a joke. And then people started laughing and said, oh, did I just say that? Oops.
Did I do that?
Did I do that? It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I think this is going to be really bad.
I think early on it might work because he knows so many current players and D coordinators and coaches that he might have some insight like Tony Romo did early on. But I think after that wears off, like he's not going to have anything. Tony Romo, love him or hate him,
he's a weirdo.
He can at least lean on being a weirdo or being a personality. Maybe don't talk over the final play of the Super Bowl, but whatever.
You take the good with the bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
He says Tom Brady on the golf outings kind of also proves it for me. Charles Barkley is natural in himself, and Brady just hates the entire thing. He had no personality, and when they did the challenge, the match or whatever, he had no personality, and the golf course is the most personality place of about anything. Yeah, like you're just out there, and it's you're the show, and still we get nothing. I don't think Tom Brady is going to do well with this. I think this will be viewed as a pretty big mess up very quickly.
Yeah.
It already is probably viewed that way just because people like the Olsen so much, but that's only adding fuel to this fire, I think. It's going to be about what Brady doesn't give you, but then people will use like, hey, you got rid of Olsen for this?
Yep.
Because we just want the broadcast to be good. I don't care whether Tom Brady's on it or not. Yeah. Now, like you said, Josh, it'll get viewers because it is Tom Brady. He brings that to him. It's like the president doing a broadcast. But what's the actual substance to it and how good will it be? I have many doubts.
And then Fox is in an unenviable position. Like, well, we're not going to fire Tom Brady. And Greg Olson's going to leave us the second he can.
My guess would be that Brady does this for a year or two and then decides that he doesn't want to do it anymore. That would be my guess.
Best case scenario for everybody.
All right, quick timeout. Allan Bell will get his take on this and various other things when we return with AB on the Connor Happer Show in 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I cannot believe you didn't want to watch Hook. What a classic
I've never
movie.
seen Hook either.
Yeah, but Nick, you're 5. John was alive in the mid-90s. I didn't see every single movie. You didn't see anything. You're a big dumb idiot.
I'm working at the gas station again, watching the 94 Orange Bowl. Watch some damn movies, John.
I've seen
and listen to Nirvana. Hell yeah.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Ample sunshine for your Tuesday afternoon, but some hazy skies providing some moderate air quality thanks to some Canadian wildfire smoke in here. Should clear out more through the afternoon hours, and we'll hit a high near 77 degrees today. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV Newswatch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620, The Zone.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Host is roasting every morning.
How does Host Coffee Services provide the best coffee for your workplace? By finding the richest and most robust coffee beans from all around the world and bringing them to our Nebraska roastery, where your coffee is roasted fresh and delivered straight to you.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
Whoa, Sandra. So in less than a week, you'll have
my forklift operator certificate.
And Joseph, you're quick to
respond? Yeah, with my degree in paramedicine, I'll be a
first responder? Cool. Bella, where are you off to?
Just knocking out my gen eds before
Transferring to the university? Smart way to save, Bella. Get up to speed with your me time. On campus, online, on your schedule. Get started at mccneb.edu/me. Classes start June 5th.
This is me at MCC.
There's no better thing than to help others in their time of need. John Bishop here to invite you to be an organ and tissue donor at goodguysavelives.com. Anyone can register, regardless of age or medical condition. Donor hearts and lungs save lives. Donor tissue makes recovery from surgery easier. Next time you renew your license, check that organ and tissue donor box or visit goodguysavelives.com. Learn more about organ donation today and see how you can save 8 lives at goodguysavelives.com.
Some people think business banking is only about transactions. But at Emprise, we don't view money as an end game. We see it as an engine. It's who we are. Transforming ideas into IPOs, turning potential into profit. Emprise is next generation business banking, where we help money work for you, not the other way around. That's the power of possible. Visit emprisebank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started Wesley Financial Group to do one thing: help people get out of their timeshare nightmare. When you buy a timeshare, the timeshare company can raise your annual maintenance fees at will. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Want out of your timeshare? Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Let's go on a fishing trip you will be talking about for years. The best walleye fishing trip ever. Join me, Crash Davis. We're going to travel to the walleye capital of the world, September 15th through the 19th aboard a deluxe motor coach. Travel with me to Ballard's Resort on Lake of the Woods. Pricing includes round-trip motor coach transportation, 4 nights lodging, 3 days of fully guided walleye fishing, and all of our meals. Go fishing with me, Crash. Your best trip ever. Sign up at ballardsresort.com. ballardsresort.com. And set the hook.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Allan Bell, the AB3, on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by our good friend Allan Bell, the AB3, driving the line. AB, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Doing fantastic, man. You doing all right?
Yes, good. We were just talking about we both don't think that Tom Brady is going to be very good at his new job. I don't know. Like, it just kind of hit me yesterday when I saw the video where they announced to him that what his first game was going to be. It just doesn't seem like he's very, I don't know, much of a human anymore. He's kind of just like a robot version of himself.
Yeah, it's odd, that we're finding out that these jobs, require training. You know what I mean? Like, these are difficult jobs. These are not easy. Like what you see, somebody like Jim Nance or, Kevin Harlan, go down the list. Like, these people have worked on their craft for 40 years, right? Like, you can't just walk in and start doing this, man. Like, I get it, the name, and he's an interesting, person, so to say, but dude, like, it's just too much. I agree with you. Like, I'm not against it, but like, the people that are good at this job have worked at this for a long, long time.
Well, I'm gonna watch for the first couple weeks and just see what happens. But like, as far as the actual meat and potatoes of it, the real bones of the deal, like, I don't know. I just don't feel like he's gonna be very good at this. And then you have the other thing where, he's replacing Greg Olsen, and people really came to like Greg Olsen quite a bit.
Great.
That will not help him at all.
No, Greg Olsen is good. And you know why? Greg Olsen worked at this. Like, he was like Tony Romo. Like, Tony Romo, him and Jim Nance would get together and watch a tape of a game and do it and do it and do it and do it and do it, right? Like, that's why Romo came out of the gate. Yeah, he's super intelligent, right? But he understood what he was doing. Greg Olsen did the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that Tom Brady's not out here working at his craft. The man has, proven that, he does that. But, dude, you're right. Like, replacing Olsen, not going to go over well because Greg Olsen's good at what he did.
Yeah, he gets put into a very questionable situation. So that'll be a fun thing to watch the first couple weeks. On the NFL, what have you taken? Like, there's all sorts of stuff out there. The official schedule releases tomorrow. We're gonna get opening night with the Ravens and the Chiefs. Not particularly a surprise. We're gonna get another Monday. We're gonna roll the dice out there again on Aaron Rodgers on Monday night, and he's going to San Francisco for Monday Night Football Week 1. Anything hitting in terms of the leaks out there so far?
Yeah. So really, like, I think you nailed it. Like, when the schedules come out, we all look to like the primetime games, right? And you got the kickoff game, and the Chiefs are going to beat it because obviously, right? So it's like, okay, we look at it. If I'm looking from a Chiefs perspective, it's like, okay, how many primetime games are we going to have, and who are they going to be against, right? So you've got the opening kickoff game. I would imagine at least one, if not both, the Chargers games, with Jim Harbaugh. Those are going to be primetime games.
Yep.
And then the other side, what you said, right? Like, now let's find, the teams that the league thinks are going to be good, and then they're going to be terrible by week 4, and we're stuck watching them 7 times, in primetime, right? Like, I think that, and I'm not saying they're going to be terrible, but like, I bet the Houston Texans get a lot of primetime games this year, right? Like, we're thinking that they're going to be pretty good, and they might be. I'm not saying that they're not. But, like, it's that level of, like, okay, let's see who the league's rolling the dice on. You know what I mean? A couple of years ago, it was the Broncos, right, when they signed Russell Wilson. Like, that's the part. It's like, okay, like, me not in Kansas City, you put a Chiefs game on primetime, I'm watching it every time.
Yep.
I love watching Mahomes. I love watching this team. They're fun. I am scared on the other side of it, of who we're going to get stuck with. You know what I mean?
I'm totally with you. Yeah. I'm also been interested in the NFL. Like, there's this thing that's kind of growing now since college football expanded their playoff, and they will now be, moving a little bit earlier, and they won't just be basically taking the entire month of December off. And the NFL seems to have fired some more shots here. They're going to put a Saturday game. They are doing a week 1 Friday night Brazil. I think college football, unfortunately, and maybe inadvertently, poked the bear here, and they're about to kind of feel the wrath of the NFL.
Yeah, they did. And, there used to be an unwritten thing to where the NFL
Yes.
didn't have games on Fridays for high school football and Saturdays for college. Now, the NFL waited until, these, leagues or however you want to say, to where there were no games. And they're like, okay, well, now it's fair game. There's nothing on. So I get it. The NFL didn't do anything wrong there. But yeah, like they're not going to go back. It's like the mafia, man. Like once the mafia takes like control of a restaurant, they don't just give it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're like, oh, we
So-
can do this. We're never going to stop doing this. This is amazing.
like-
Whoever thought of the idea that we're going to own a day of the week when we could just own the entire week? It's a great idea.
We'll own the month. We just own it now. Now, I'll tell you what I'm fascinated about. Do we know what the Brazil game is yet?
Yeah, it's Eagles Packers.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, that's solid. Like I thought they were gonna kiss in like the Titans out there, and you're like, oh dear God. You know what I mean? Like it's always like a Titans Jags. You know, it's just awful.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good game, man. Brazil got lucky. Mexico City got a couple lumpers out there, dude. They got stuck. Yeah. The London games too. Jacksonville was just constantly. Yeah, man.
And that game will be exclusively on Peacock as well.
Nice. What
And-
time is that game? Like, what time zone is Brazil in?
That's a great question. Is it?
It's like an hour. It's similar to East time zone.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's all right. So it's not going to be like Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. You know, you're battling like the church service. Like, okay, all right, that's fine.
So depending on where you're at in Brazil, it appears
It's
to
a
be
big country.
Yeah.
It has many time zones, but it could either be 2:45 right now or 11:45 a.m. Much, it's like 1 hour off of us, basically. I don't know where Rio de Janeiro is. That's where they're playing it, right? Rio,
no,
Josh?
Sao Paulo.
Oh, Sao Paulo.
Where it is currently 1:46 p.m.
Okay, so an hour ahead of Eastern time zone.
All right, that's workable. All right, yeah, they're not going to Rio. It's too much of a party down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's not bad. Okay, there. That's workable for sure.
So,
that's
yeah.
a lot better than London. Getting used to that 8 a.m. game was tough.
Actually, you know what? I've come to kind of enjoy it. I wake up at 8:30 and it's just there. And it's like, oh, cool, the Jags are on right now.
It's just nice to have something on at that time.
It is true. Yeah, you're right. And like I love like seeing the fans that had no clue what was going on. Like one guy's in a Chiefs jersey, another guy's in a Ravens jersey. Like they don't have a clue.
No.
But like they're clearly liquored up, which is all right. Have fun, man. Have a good time.
Hey, you're not still betting Creighton baseball, are you?
Well, we've had to take a step back.
That's
a little tough.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah, it's got a little tough. I'll tell you what we shifted to Nebraska overs.
Oh.
Like Nebraska's scoring runs, but they're giving up runs as well, right? So you see like a team like they'll play like Indiana or something, like it'll just be a random game. And there's like 17 runs scored, man. But yeah, you're right. We're taking a step back on Creighton, which is normal though. There are other teams, that we've done that throughout the year that are really good. It's a long season,
How are the books trying to basically thwart the driving the line community's advances on college baseball this week?
Yeah, so Sunday they released totals 8 minutes before first pitch, which that was kind of them. I appreciate them doing that. Like that's the most difficult part is they'll just do this, and I'm like, I said on the show, I was like, I don't know any other sport that you have to bet by hostage negotiation, but here we are. So that's where we're at.
What a time! What a time! Yeah. At least you guys are, literally driving the line, it seems like at this point.
That's true. That's true. You know what? I'm just waiting for that first Creighton, Nebraska game in Brazil. That's what we need. That'll change things up.
Yeah. We'll have to stay tuned to that one for a little while.
If they put a college baseball game in Mexico City, like up on the mountains, it would be 300 to 297. There would be a million almost.
And it probably should be, just for the bit, be Creighton, Nebraska, because something ridiculous always happens in that game.
Every time. I swear to God, that's my favorite baseball series of all time. Now it's Creighton, Nebraska. It's the best.
What a time, man. You belong here. We'll talk to you next week, and we'll see you right around the corner, of course, for the College World Series. Thanks, Allan.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, boys. Y'all be good.
Allan Bell of Driving the Line, the AB3. Creighton, Nebraska baseball is my favorite baseball series. Amazing. Guy lives in Tennessee. He's got great baseball all around him. He's like, no, this is it. This is the sicko stuff. Speaking of Creighton baseball, what's going on out there, Josh? Let's check in with Let's check in with Nick and John.
Getzman flew out to left.
I was hoping that they'd be talking about something stupid.
He was just discussing the kids fanning themselves off with their Cox Kids Day at the ballpark scorecards that they've turned into fans.
That's good. So we're waiting for the next drop like that.
Immediately ready, and the pitch is a ground ball up the middle, fielded at short. Clifford's throw is perfect. And there's one away here in the Maverick third inning.
Okay. All right. So Creighton leads Omaha 2-0 on Cox Kids Day.
And you can hear them in that gnat sound.
Yeah, I didn't hear a ping on that one. Just a bunch of kids
murmuring.
All right. Let's take a quick timeout. Josh will bring in the odd news on the other side, and don't forget the definitive list of the hype games, Nebraska football home hype games over the last 20 years, coming at you after the top of the hour. Andy McCullough will join in the noon hour as well. Jacob Bigelow still to come. We are
busy.
We are but halfway on the Connor Happer Show in 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show.
Who's pitching tonight?
You Darvish, having a great year.
The Connor Happer Show.
I know about that guy.
On 1620 The Zone.
What a mess.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source. By your mom's house.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
Guys, let's have a conversation. Let's say you've been losing interest in your spouse. You got low libido. You can't focus on things. And you're wondering, what is going on? It may be low testosterone. Mentality is here for you. With their FDA-approved testosterone treatment, the board-certified physicians who work with most insurance companies, they can diagnose the symptoms of low testosterone and take care of it. Schedule an appointment today. Go to the website, lowtusa.com. Take back your life, man. Mentality, lowtusa.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, Josh, it is indeed time for the odd news.
That's right. We begin with this is going to be tough for you to hear, Connor. I don't do this to cause you pain, but
what's it
I
about?
do want you to be informed. Vegas.
Uh-oh.
You're of Vegas. You go to Vegas.
Right. I already know everything about how bad it is.
Well, the Scorpions are invading.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like Vegas, the city, or the Strip?
Good question. I'm not familiar with
because if there was a bunch of scorpions on the Strip, that would be a problem.
That would probably be bigger news than the odd news.
Yep.
As temperatures rise, so do the bugs. According to residents, there have been some reports of scorpion sightings inside people's homes. A Mountain Edge resident. That do anything for you?
Mountain Edge?
Is that a burb?
It's definitely not where I'm going in Vegas.
It's not where the events of Con Air took place?
No.
Okay.
It is not.
Okay. Shares that her neighbor was bit in her jacuzzi. Another neighbor recalls finding one inside her house in the ceiling. She was worried because she has animals. So we find them all over the place, upstairs, downstairs. We just had a newborn, so we want to make sure
that's a problem.
The newborn is safe. I've probably killed 22 scorpions recently. That's a very specific number to throw a probably in front of it.
Probably 22 scorpions.
Mm-hmm. Probably about 22 scorpions. So the scorpions are invading.
They are. The scorpions are invading. I hope they don't. I hope they don't invade other parts of Vegas.
That's right.
I don't care about those parts of Vegas.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't. I
It's
know there's a lot of great people out in Vegas, but I have literally never been outside of like a 4-mile radius of area in Las Vegas. So as long as the scorpions don't go to the MGM Grand, the airport, or Circa, it's the only places I'll possibly be.
Well,
specifically, this like they can even go to the MGM Grand if they want to. Just don't go in the sports book or my room. Because really, those or the blackjack tables. Those are the only 3 places I'll be.
Okay,
my entire time while I'm in Vegas.
Baymon with a great comment on
Hi,
YouTube.
Baymon.
Need to be careful with them, or they will rock you like a hurricane.
Nice.
There it is. I appreciate it. We go to Pennsylvania for story number 2, where a Johnstown man is facing felony burglary charges after police say he broke into and damaged a residence. Quasar Stevens,
great name,
21 years young, arrested after police were called to an apartment on the reports of a break-in May 6th. When officers arrived, the victim told police that Stevens had entered through a side window and exited through the front door. Officers noted there were several shoes thrown in the alleyway. The living room side window was pushed open, and the basement side window glass was broken. So it's pretty clear what happened. He broke in, threw the shoes away, But there was an even bigger clue about in the kitchen.
Never leave a paper trail.
Well, this isn't paper. The kitchen floor was covered in Cajun seasoning, and there were footprints.
Was it Tony's?
I'm going to assume so. The brand is not given, but come on,
it'd be nice if it was.
We're all cooking with Tony's, right?
Everybody should have a little can of Tony's at their house.
We got a big can of Tony's.
I don't get paid by Tony Sashery, but I do appreciate the works of Tony Sashery.
It's good stuff. Yeah, none of the other stuff matters.
By the way, odd news adjacent. It does appear as if Doug Gottlieb is going to be the next coach at Green Bay.
When we talk to...
There's a documentary brewing somewhere in
there.
there.
Absolutely. But when we talk to Andy or Jacob later today, I'm going to text Ellie French and
you cover Doug Gottlieb now.
Get some boots on the ground journalism here for this absolute bleep
Ellie,
storm.
are you looking forward to the Doug Gottlieb press conference tomorrow? That'll be a lot of fun. Or you could just listen to his radio show today at whatever o'clock. I don't even know where he's doing his radio show anymore.
He did,
apologize if he's doing it on 1180 The Zone.
When people travel, they'll find a radio station in the city they're in.
Yes.
He's been working in Omaha and done his radio show from a different cluster in town.
Interesting.
One where I was in the building for, and somebody said, "Hey, you like sports? Do you want to meet Doug Gottlieb?"
And what'd you say?
No, thank you.
One note here, and I know we have another story.
Mm-hmm.
A note here from John.
Hi, John.
On the title, subject line, Vegas. Don't you and Cody spend time at the White Castle while you're in Vegas? Don't any scorpions at White Castle. Okay, add White Castle to the list.
I respect that.
I respect that, scorpion.
So these real nerds at NASA, they need to think of every possible thing that can go wrong.
Yes, it's space travel, Josh. I appreciate that they do.
I absolutely do. There is a new one that they are preparing to combat: astroforensics.
Okay. What happens in astroforensics?
What happens if somebody murders someone in space?
Oh, great question. I always want to know the answer to that question.
Well, we are beginning to piece that puzzle together. American CSI investigators are gathering with NASA to create rules and laws and figure out the science behind solving murders in space. Oh, Josh, you must be silly. It's just crimes in space with like a murder unit. No, it's what happens if there's murder in space. That's what they're working on.
Like the actual effect that it will have on the space travel, not necessarily the consequences of murder in space.
Right. That's kind of the first step.
Well, I'm interested in the consequences of murder in space.
They want to know what happens to the blood and the evidence, because it's not just going to drop to the floor like a normal murder. Weird sentence. Normal murder.
Normal regular murder.
Normal regular murder. So they want to know how the blood falls, where it could go, where it could land, what happens. Does it get overly oxidized and you can't work with it? So Atlanta, GA is serving as headquarters for this CSI mega conference with NASA, and they're figuring it out.
This is good. I think you have to look through every possibility of what might happen in space, and then its effect on other things.
Now, I saw a documentary called Jason X, where this crew went up to space, and a mutant of a man wearing a hockey mask decided to pick off the space travelers one by one, and I don't think the court system got to him.
Yeah. So you're saying he's still up there, ready to commit murders?
He's somewhere.
Okay. Interesting. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
One more before we
please
take a break here. It is a old take from future head coach of the Green Bay basketball team, Division I head coach Doug Gottlieb.
Oh, no.
This is a tweet from SportsCenter in April of 2009. Stephen Curry declared for NBA draft. Doug Gottlieb, quote, he doesn't have the upside of Rubio, Jennings, Flynn, Mills, Teague. They're all more athletic than Curry.
Well, if anyone,
Division I head coach.
What if someone explained math to Doug Gottlieb?
3 is greater than 2.
Yeah.
That math was not available yet.
If you steal, if you steal 3 credit cards and your friend steals 2 credit cards,
how many credit cards do you have?
Who has stolen more credit cards?
Steph Curry is the guy with 3 credit cards, I guess, in this analogy. All right, we'll be back. Coming back, the definitive list, according to me, on Nebraska's most hype home games since 2004. I went here since 2004, so post Solich. All right, so this is over the last 20 years. I got a list. Send me yours. Send me a few of your examples, and we'll decide if they're on the list. I'm talking about not the finish and not whether the game was good or not. I'm talking about the pregame lead up and then atmosphere at the start of the game. We'll get a new entry this fall in September when Nebraska hosts Colorado. But what are the expectations that it has to live up to? We'll give you that list coming back on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
When you keep a car for a long time, it becomes a classic. When you keep your air conditioner for a long time, it becomes, well, let's just say it doesn't get better with age. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and have your old air conditioner checked out. If it's needed, you can have a brand new Carrier air conditioner installed in no time with fast and easy financing. When the other companies send salesmen, Standard sends qualified technicians. It's just part of the way we do the things we do.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
Spring has arrived, and Lenaha has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. The best shrubs, perennials, and freshly dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lenaha Nurseries, your homegrown headquarters since 1974. Think spring. Think Lenaha's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Let's go on a fishing trip you will be talking about for years. The best walleye fishing trip ever. Join me, Crash Davis. We're going to travel to the walleye capital of the world, September 15th through the 19th aboard a deluxe motor coach. Travel with me to Ballard's Resort on Lake of the Woods. Pricing includes round-trip motor coach transportation, 4 nights lodging, 3 days of fully guided walleye fishing, and all of our meals. Go fishing with me, Crash. Your best trip ever. Sign up at ballardsresort.com. ballardsresort.com. And set the hook.
Hello? Jan, it's Kay. Are you and Rich free for dinner tonight? I'm making pizza.
Sounds great. What time?
6 p.m.?
Sorry, can't do it. Wheel of Fortune is on and Rich won't miss it.
You're kidding.
Nope. He's seen every episode since 1975. He won't budge.
Listen, tell him if he comes, we'll buy him a bunch of Wheel of Fortune scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery.
Won't work. He has to see the show.
That's just it. Until July 30th, if Rich enters any non-winning $5 Wheel of Fortune scratch ticket online, he could win the ultimate fan trip to Los Angeles, including airfare and accommodations. He'll also win tickets to a live taping of Wheel of Fortune and get to spin the big wheel to win at least $2,000.
That might work. Could you do just one other thing?
Sure. What?
Could you write free spin and pepperoni on every other slice of pizza?
Why don't you just come at 7?
Wheel of Fortune top prize odds, 1 in 112,000.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank.
Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Post is roasting every morning. Post Coffee Services is on a mission to invigorate every workplace with a blend of bold flavors and unforgettable service, creating moments with our coffee, water, and food services that spark joy, productivity, and connection. Call us today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Post Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
All right, I have for you the definitive list. I love when people say that things are definitive. And so I will join the crew. The definitive list. Nebraska's most hype home games since 2004. But first, let's check in on Creighton and UNO baseball. What's going on out there?
Not a bad idea either. You get Dick in there to start the game, but as a catcher who's caught most of the innings this year, get him a break,
John!
because this is a very important weekend.
Aiden Hunt remains at second, leading away. 0-1 pitch. That one misses low with the breaking ball. 1-1.
Okay.
We did not manipulate that audio. It just happened naturally.
There is a player on UNO named Cardell Dick. But that was just lucky. That was just a lucky drop in by us.
To everyone asking, yes, after the segment, I will pull the clip and we'll play it again.
Yeah. Yep. Good to check in, though, with John and Nick.
So what's the criteria for this list again?
We're talking about pregame hype. All right.
Okay, so pregame
hype, and then environment. It does not take into account the actual quality of the game. In some cases, these games actually ended up being good. But I'm thinking lead up to the game. Oh, by the way, I owe a lot to this list. A shout out to Husker Max, who has every game, and then they have all of the articles that were written pregame, predictions, notes, and things like that. Great resource for a list like this. And so I have for you. We do this in honor of Nebraska hosting a night game with Colorado on September 7th. People forget.
Nasty.
Be a night game. It's 6:30. Charles and Jefferson Stillflex they were very thrown off by our check-in with John and Nick out at the ballpark.
Absolutely.
Yep. I was thrown off by it as well, to be completely honest with you. All right, here's the list. We'll start. We'll go in chronological order, Josh.
Please, yes.
If you guys have any additions or things that you think that I have omitted, please send them my way. Andy McCullough will join us in 15 minutes, and we'll talk baseball with him. October 21st, 2006 is where this story begins. Number 17, Nebraska hosted number 5, Texas. A little bit of juice was taken out of this because it was an 11 a.m. game. It was an 11 a.m. ABC game. This game we now remember as the Terrence Nunn game, where Terrence Nunn fumbled. Nebraska had a 1-point lead with 3 minutes left and has a first down by Terrence Nunn. He was tackled, ball got knocked loose, and Texas went down, got a field goal, and won. Nebraska was
not the snow game.
I mean, yeah, it started snowing.
Okay.
It started snowing, I think, at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Terrence Nunn fumbled. Terrence Nunn fumbled. And so Nebraska up until this point, I mean, remember 2004 and 2005 didn't necessarily go very well. 2006, Nebraska had only lost one game up to that point. It was against USC. They were doing okay, right? They were doing okay. Maybe there's a chance that they're back. We got number 5 Texas in the house. There's some hype going into this one that, of course, ended in pain and suffering, as they usually do. But any home game with Texas has usually been pretty big. That was the first one that came on my list once again post 04. We fast forward to the next year, September 15th, 2007. Number 14 Nebraska hosts number 1 USC.
Number 1.
7 o'clock on ABC. College game day comes to town. They decide to set things up on the field this time.
Ooh.
Lee Corso picks Southern Cal, and people start to throw corn cobs at him on the stage. I know, because I was one of them. And remember, Nebraska, after going down quickly 7-0, came back, tied the game, and then took the lead. Had a 10-7 lead early in the second quarter. Night game, number 1 team in the house. Nebraska, you're feeling like Nebraska's back. And then they ended up being down 42-10 midway through the third quarter. So it was short-lived, but the hype and the intensity was there.
I believe I was at a wedding during this game.
Thank you.
That's my contribution.
Thank you for your contribution. I believe I was at a wedding for this game. So like,
go on with the list.
Tom Brady doing color analysis.
Did I say that? Did that slip out?
September 27th, 2008, Nebraska hosts Virginia Tech. This is Bo's first big game. 7 o'clock on ABC. Missouri was obviously big the next week too, but Nebraska got absolutely throttled in that game. Nebraska found themselves down 35-23 with about 2 minutes left in this game. They scored quickly, 80-yard drive quickly with Joe Gans. Nebraska didn't get the onside kick, but they forced a punt, had a couple plays, got across midfield, and then fumbled at the 44 with a few seconds left in the game. They probably weren't going to win it anyway, but it was a furious comeback. Night game, premier non-conference, power team coming into town, and it was Bo's first big one. So I throw Virginia Tech into this conversation. Then we move to November 7th, 2009. Nebraska hosts number 20 Oklahoma. This game was at 7 o'clock on ABC.
Jeffrey on YouTube was asking for it.
Jeffrey, you got it, buddy. Nebraska grabs 5 Landry Jones interceptions. And Matt O'Hanlon, who made up for his horrible performance at the Virginia Tech game, according to some, had 3 of them. And Ndamukong Suh blocked the field goal. Alex Henry had some sick-ass punts, and Nebraska won 10-3 against Oklahoma in 2009.
Barn burner.
It was awesome. That game was sick. There is nothing like a really good defense game for Nebraska. You just know it's going to be so hard to score that day. A great defense game.
Everybody was doing the bones.
Oh, yeah. They were doing 3-and-out bones all night long. That is on the list. We are through, 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, of course, this disaster. October 16th, 2010, number 5 Nebraska hosts Texas. This was a 2:30 ABC ESPN kickoff. Nebraska was 9 days removed from dismantling Kansas State. Taylor Martinez had announced himself to the rest of college football. Texas was scuffling. Nebraska finally had this opportunity to exercise their demons against a poor Texas team. And born was a catchphrase, a slogan, if you will. They called it "Red Out Around the World."
Oh.
Great idea, in theory. But Nebraska tested their luck a little bit too much. Taylor Martinez ran for 21 yards. Garrett Gilbert ran like crazy. It was Nightmare City. This is why we all have PTSD. When you say people are scared to get hype, get excited about something and throw all of their energy and excitement to getting behind a common cause, this is why they won't do it. This is why people refuse to, instead, they just dip their toe in the water instead of diving headfirst into the pool. They're afraid to break their necks. This was the broken neck game. This game sucked. That was a horrible, horrible day. Because it was all coming up Nebraska. It's like, all right, sweet.
Dark, dark day.
Let's make Texas, even though they're not very good, like we finally get to beat them, and we'll just bludgeon them. We'll just kill them. We just beat K-State.
Make it
9
nasty.
days ago. Oh.
That game.
That game was a nightmare. Nightmare game. Eric Hagg took back a punt or kick or whatever that was, and I don't know. It got a little interesting late, but not particular. This game is on the list for its pregame hype. We move into the Big Ten era. September 29th, 2012. Number 22, Nebraska hosts Wisconsin. This is an ABC primetime kickoff. 7:12 p.m. was the kickoff time. Nebraska comes from down 17. They were wearing horrible, horrible, horrible uniforms.
End of the third power.
That's how we remember this game mostly. And the one time that Nebraska actually beat Wisconsin as members of the Big Ten. They exacted revenge against Wisconsin from the 2011 shellacking. Of course, it was short-lived. Nebraska was re-shellacked just about 2 months later in the Big Ten championship game, 70-31. But people were very excited about this game, night game, Wisconsin, and believe it or not, for the horrible, horrible alternate jerseys.
Michael Severus chimed in.
Hello, Michael.
He says that Texas game was as loud as any game I have attended in Memorial Stadium. The 11 a.m. start had not affected the energy. When it started snowing, it was when the crowd went wild.
Yeah, you're talking about the 06, the Terrence Nunn game. Yeah. Yes. I remember being very, very excited, and probably the most mad that I've ever been when Terrence Nunn fumbled that football. Maybe the most mad that I've ever been in my entire life. I couldn't believe that was happening to me. Why, God, have you chosen me for all this, to harbor all this pain?
I would love to say, no, I'm much bigger than that. I never shouted Terrence Nunn's name in anger.
Oh, I did. I was so angry. I was so mad at Terrence Nunn.
I did. I yelled at that poor boy.
September 14th, 2013. Now, this game makes the list, but it has a couple caveats. Number 23, Nebraska hosts number 16, UCLA. Caveat number 1, it was 11 a.m. kickoff. There was some excitement for this game. It was the premier non-conference game. It was UCLA. It's a brand you haven't seen in a while, West Coast. Nebraska got drilled by them the year before out in LA. This was a big game. It was setting up to be very fun. Nebraska was set to debut their black uniforms, their stencil black uniforms.
Those were fine.
The game ended up being at 11 o'clock, but what happened was a UCLA football player died 6 days before the game.
Oh, that's right.
And it really kind of just lost a ton of juice. But I'll leave this one on the list almost because of how it could have been. Nebraska they were up I think they were up 21-3 in the game and then just got completely boat raced the rest of the way. Kind of another nightmare.
Yeah, this game rings a bell now.
Yeah, that game low-key actually sucked a lot. But we don't talk about that one very much. September 20th, 2014, the gold standard for nasty. Number 24, Nebraska hosts Miami at 7 o'clock. This game was on ESPN2. Brad Kaya's Miami Hurricanes. Trash talk throughout the week. Miami comes to town. It was nasty. Amir Abdullah ran 35 times for 229 yards just 2 weeks after completely saving Nebraska's butts against McNeese State.
That's right.
He was a full-on Heisman candidate after this night. Nebraska ran 24 second quarter plays, and 20 of them were runs. This is Bo Pelini's wet dream.
Yeah.
He was so jacked to be able to just absolutely ram it down the throat of Miami. Nebraska had 10 straight run plays during that 20 out of 24 runs in the second quarter. They bullied Miami, and it was indeed their worst nightmare.
I was working the board for that game on the radio, and just there were times where they had to turn the Nat sound down because you could not hear the play-by-play.
Brunts has tweeted in.
Hi, Brunts.
Did we skip over 2010 Missouri at home? I gave it consideration. I gave it consideration, but because that was the week after the Texas game, the Red Out Around the World game. And and then given what happened to Nebraska, Missouri was really, really good. Missouri won 52-17, and Nebraska got absolutely drilled in that game. But coming off of the Texas loss, I think it lost some. It may have lost some juice. That's why I didn't include it on this. But that's always like, if I would have expanded the list to 15, it definitely would have been on here. We continue on. September 17th, 2016. We might have to finish this later. September 17th, 2016. Nebraska hosts number 22 Oregon. This was a 2:30 kickoff on ABC. Mike Riley's first big one. Nebraska had won 6 out of their last 7 overall, dating back to the previous year, with a bowl win inside of there against UCLA in the Foster Farms Bowl. Oregon was a big brand that did not turn out to be very good that year. However, this game did propel Nebraska to a 7-0 start in a top 10 ranking during that season. Maybe the last big non-conference game that I can remember. October 7th, 2017, Nebraska hosts number 9 Wisconsin. Yes, 2017 makes an appearance on this list. This is a BTN game, and I'll tell you why.
Whoa.
Nebraska was 3-2 with losses to Oregon and Northern Illinois. Sean Eichhorst had been fired. Nebraska celebrates the 20th anniversary of the 1997 national championship team, and it's a good game. I will always remember the pop when Aaron Williams had a short pick 6 to tie the game at 17. This is in the third quarter. Immediately responded by a botched kickoff by Wisconsin that pinned them inside their own 10 to start the drive. What happened next was a steady diet of pain for Nebraska's defense. And Jonathan, in the form of Jonathan Taylor, he ran for 249 yards. The Mike Riley era basically ended after that night. He would only go on to win one more game. Oof. At Purdue later on that season. September 28th, 2019, Nebraska hosts number 5 Ohio State, 640 ABC. College Game Day rolls its way back into town. Nebraska announces its plans to build a $160 million football facility. The game was over within 5 minutes. Nebraska did, however, have a drive where they ran the triple option, and people thought it was cool. That drive ended in an interception.
Aww.
It was working, and they got all the way down there, and then they threw an interception. That game was a disaster. Ohio State could have won 800-7 if they wanted to. They chose not to. Thank you, Justin Fields. I appreciate that. They could have scored 800 points that night. And finally, October 9th, 2021, Nebraska hosts number 9 Michigan, 640 ABC. Nebraska had come off playing well against Oklahoma. The total collapse against Michigan State with the punt return and the broken jaw, the bludgeoning of Northwestern the week before. This is important here. Nebraska comes off a night game in which they had absolutely crushed Northwestern. It was like 52-7. And people, I think, wanted to believe just one more time.
Vibes were good.
They wanted to believe just one more time. This game was ridiculous. There was weird calls. There was wild swings. Nebraska was down 13-0. And then outscored Michigan, I believe, 22-7 in the third quarter. It was the big debut of the third quarter extravaganza of fireworks and AC/DC and all that stuff. Adrian Martinez ends up fumbling on what many thought was a dead ball forward progress situation. Nebraska loses to Michigan, and they only won 3 games that entire year.
We learned a lot of new officiating phrases that game.
Yes, we did. Michael writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Michael.
Man, these most hype games all suck.
A lot of people are commenting, what is Nebraska's record in these games? Because it seems to be not good. Connor.
You know what? I didn't even think about it. So go with me here, Josh.
Okay.
Loss.
I hate
win. It. Loss. Win.
Nope.
Loss. Are you keeping track?
I am.
Okay, good. Win. Loss. 3 and 9.
4 and 8.
Okay. So
I was just counting on my fingers though, so I don't know.
Get better this year.
How about 5 and 8?
Joel writes in. It says Northwestern was actually the first ACDC light show. Yeah, it was like those two games kind of live in the same space in my mind because they were back-to-back night games. I want to talk to. I want to get your guys' responses to this, but we do have to take a break here real quick and get to Andy McCullough of The Athletic, who wrote a book about Clayton Kershaw. So we'll get to that on the other side. But we'll have plenty of time for your guys' responses to the list, the definitive list. But Andy McCullough joins us next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
This is something that I've been very cognizant of living in Omaha, because I think Nebraska athletics, whether it be trying to gain new ticket holders, new donors, new interest, yes, winning matters, is they need to be better in this town, like more visible.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Ample sunshine for your Tuesday afternoon, but some hazy skies providing some moderate air quality thanks to some Canadian wildfire smoke in here. Should clear out more through the afternoon hours, and we'll hit a high near 77 degrees today. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV News Watch 7.
The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Attention Omaha parents, if you're looking for a fun, safe, affordable summer camp experience for your kids, look no further than Camp Croc. Located at Croc Center Omaha, just off of Kennedy Freeway and Q Street, Camp Croc runs weekdays from the end of May through August 9th. Kids ages 6 through 12 will enjoy all kinds of activities, from sports and character building to swimming and STEM projects. Plus, breakfast, lunch, and snacks are included. For more details, go to omahacroc.org. That's omahakroc.org.
Watching a ball game at Oscars Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscars offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscars Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscars Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Whether it's food for meetings or company events, EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work. And that means all you have to do is sit back and take credit.
Wow, a vegan and a meat lover taco bar? Jill, you're the best.
Oh, all I did was use EasyCater.
Take the credit, Jill.
Well, I guess I sort of
Take it.
invented taco bars.
Too far, Jill. Too far. EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
My taco pie is really something special, and it can't be imitated.
It starts with my zesty taco sauce, seasoned beef, onions, lettuce, tomatoes, mounds of cheddar, and mozzarella cheese. This pie is the real deal. For a limited time, build your own feast with the specialty pizza, like my taco pie, a one-topping pizza, and cinnamon monkey bread. Do yourself a favor and order. Today, Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Join the stations of the Zone this spring on our road to the College World Series. Creighton baseball is back from Charles Schwab Field. Our regular season schedule takes us all the way through the Big East Tournament. Creighton baseball on 1620 The Zone and 1180 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We are of books. Love books. Love to talk to authors of books. The Last of His Kind, Clayton Kershaw and the Burden of Greatness, written by Andy McCullough of The Athletic, who joins us now via the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. Andy, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Congrats on the book, first of all. I'm glad to see that you've had a bit of a victory lap over the last week or so. The idea and the process in which that led to you writing a book about Clayton Kershaw started where and when?
I mean, it's kind of hard to pin it down exactly. I mean, I covered the team for several years for the Los Angeles Times, so I developed a relationship with Kershaw over that time. I approached him, in earnest in May of 2022 to talk, see if he'd be interested in, sitting down and talking for it, and found him to be open to the idea. And so, May of 2022 is when I really got going. But it's something, I've been thinking about just for a long time, given just the, historic, significance he has in baseball. And also just kind of what a fascinating character he is to cover.
Yeah, I don't think that people, like the common baseball fan, realize that the side of him. Like, we see him as is commonly mentioned throughout the book. Like, the fifth day is the part where we get to see Clayton Kershaw, and you get to know the person a little bit throughout that time. But like, what we don't, I think, appreciate is how seriously he took that day, as evidenced by many things just right off the bat, including the Samuel L. Jackson story of walking to the clubhouse. I didn't realize he was this much of a psycho, I guess, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to describe it, I guess. He's definitely someone who was extremely intense on, the days that he pitched. And that was something that, talking to teammates of his over the past, 15 years, that's something that they pretty much all mentioned first when, thinking about him, is just how different the day felt when he was pitching. And so one of the things I really wanted to explore, within the book was just like, okay, like, why are you like this?
Yeah.
Why do you behave this way? And in having conversations with him, it kind of stemmed back to, his childhood and some of the anxiety he felt as a kid, and his, sort of the control he wanted to try and have over his professional life and career. But it just kind of manifested in amusing ways, like, for example, blowing off Samuel L. Jackson when he came to visit the Dodgers clubhouse one day before a game many years ago.
It's amazing that he, I mean, it's an interesting way to look at it. I don't know that it's that far from the truth, the pressure that he puts on himself. And then, it really comes to a head a few years ago when more of the conversation about Clayton Kershaw, is brought up in the context of him not having much postseason success, and how it didn't really ever make any sense why he didn't have any postseason success. And that was just kind of out of his control.
I mean, to an extent, some of it certainly was within his control, and some of it was certainly his responsibility. A lot of it is his responsibility. I mean, the book's not meant to, sort of make excuses or, create sort of absolve him any of that. And that's certainly not something that he is seeking. But I wanted to, at the very least, contextualize, why his numbers are different in the postseason than they are in the regular season. And also, highlight sort of the different standards he's held to, the way that, he is, and that's a standard that he frankly earned with his performance. I mean, we're talking about a sport now where, Paul Skeens debuted the other day and he went 4 innings and gave up 3 runs and, received a standing ovation on the way out. Like, if Clayton Kershaw performed like that, he'd be booed on the way out. It's a very, it's just a very, very different standard. And it's something that he's earned because he has been the best pitcher in baseball, or was at the very least especially when he was healthy, during the latter part of the last decade. And so just sort of getting into why people actually cared about him so much as compared to some other similarly talented pitchers in his generation.
Well, it's very timely in the context of what you just mentioned, because I mean we view pitchers through a different lens now, and like I mean with it's timely in the sense that we have all these pitchers, and a lot of the conversation around them is the injuries that they're going to have to endure throughout their career, and how often they're expected to pitch, and how that bar has come down. Like, I mean, I guess just to lead you right into it, he really is the last of his kind in that regard. It's just not built that way anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, the title is what it is because I really do believe he is the last genuine number 1 starter to come through baseball. I mean, maybe it's Garrett Cole is still, close to that standard, obviously. But other than that, that's not like to denigrate the modern pitcher. I mean, pitching has never been better. The talent is incredible. It's just, they're asked to be different than they were, in Kershaw's era. And that's an era that, like, we're still not exactly out of. There's a lot of, Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer are still pitching. There's still members of that generation who are active, but, Kershaw is the youngest of that group and is the one who's sort of had the most publicized, sort of burden placed on him of responsibility for one single franchise. He's the best representative of that. And so, yeah, I mean, I really do believe that, like, he is the last pitcher who will sort of meet the, sort of historical merits, thinking about the lineage of like Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens. Like, I really do believe he is the last player to sort of meet that type of standard.
How do you think we will, I mean, off of that, how do you think we will kind of grade pitchers on the Hall of Fame scale going forward? Starting pitchers.
It's a great question.
In particular, like, how do we do that now that the game is completely changed?
It's a great question. I mean, I really don't know. I think, I'm eligible for a Hall of Fame vote, but I don't vote. So I'm glad that it's not my responsibility. But it's the sort of thing, when Kershaw won his 200th game last year, I went and looked at like the active players who were likely to get to 200. And it was like Adam Wainwright, who ended up late in the season getting it and then retired. And Garrett Cole was, about, I want to say like 50 or 60 victories away. And then no one else is even close. And we're getting to an era where, winning 100 games is going to be considered, a significant achievement. Whereas, for so many pitchers, it was just like, hey, you pitch for a long time, you're going to win some games. It's just the way that, players are managed, the way that, bullpens are run, it just has become a lot different. And so I think, you're going to have to use a lot more advanced metrics, I guess, to get into it. I think the standards are going to have to go down, or otherwise you're going to be in a position where there's just not many starting pitchers, who make the cut. But yeah, I mean, outside of like Garrett Cole right now, who has a really good chance of making the Hall of Fame as a pitcher based on what the current standards are? I mean, and again, this is not to like slight like Zach Wheeler or Kevin Gossman or, guys like that. They've had great careers, but it's just a different level of achievement that guys like Verlander, Scherzer, and Kershaw, have had. And so I think it's going to be really challenging, for voters moving forward.
Yeah, I imagine there will be like more Hall of Fame relievers to come out of this period. Like, I don't know, but even those guys, it still feels like it's a pretty short shelf life, given that they're not a dime a dozen, but it feels like you can come across guys who can get outs in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings a little bit more commonly now.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I do think like Aroldis Chapman, Craig Kimbrell, and Kenley Jansen will at least merit consideration. I don't know exactly where they would fall in there. I mean, especially considering like Billy Wagner's still not in. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for those guys. But yeah, like the pitchers have just become more interchangeable, and part of that is because of the injury rate. Part of it is just the way that pitchers train now and the way that they're incentivized to chase velocity and movement, which is, deleterious for your arm moving forward. And part of it is just teams are more willing to move on from guys when they're struggling and just sort of cut bait. So, yeah, I think it's going to be the landscape, like in a historical sense, going to look very different, 10, 15 years from now.
Andy, are the Royals back? People are wondering if the Royals are back.
Yeah, it would be nice if they were back. It is hard. I've seen them a few times this year. Their pitching is a lot better, I think, than I had expected, and that has been a huge boost to them. Seth Lugo's been great. Brady Singer kind of looks back to the guy he was a couple of years ago, which is a huge improvement. The offense, like, it's still a bit of a work in progress. Bobby Witt is a star. Salvador Perez has been tremendous for them, but they still need some of the guys, Michael Garcia, MJ Melendez and stuff like that to get closer to their ceilings. They benefit from their division. They are going to play the White Sox a decent amount, but they're playing good baseball. They seem fun. It's a great market when the teams are going well and the season's going well. And so I'm hopeful that they'll be able to at least, be in contention because, Kauffman Stadium, when it's packed in October, is the best environment I've ever covered a game in.
How often do you get asked about Kyle Zimmer updates still to this day?
Often enough, I would say. I don't know what Kyle is up to these days, but I wish him well. I don't think he's playing baseball anymore.
And then the other thing that I tweeted this out yesterday is like, I'm excited to talk to Andy about his book, but also Kyle Zimmer updates, and then rank the top sends and stop signs of Mike Jershely's career. He's had a couple notable ones.
What's the other one?
So the stop sign is Gordon in Game 7. The send is Lorenzo Cain in the ALCS in 15.
Yeah, well, that was less about Jersh, and that was like a design play almost. I mean, Jersh did his job excellently there, but that was something that Cain had to be sprinting full speed. Hosmer had to, make a hard stop or make a hard turn towards second to draw the throw from Bautista. And the scout who initially found it, Alex Zumwalt, who is now the hitting coach, needed to file the report. So that was kind of a more like an organizational, triumph. I will say, Jersh has always had a good sense of humor about how the 2014 World Series ended. And, people would say like, oh, you would have been known as the guy who made the World Series end on a play at the plate, and he would always respond, "No, I would be known as the guy who made the World Series end in a rundown."
Exactly,
because there was no chance that Gordon was going to be safe. But it's never good when the city knows the third base coach's name.
I suppose not. Okay, so what do you do now? Are you just back to the everyday grind, or I guess what will the next couple weeks and months look like for you?
Oh, I don't know. I'll just probably write stories about baseball again. I've been working through this whole time, so like I never took book leave or anything like that. So,
nice.
I've got, I'm doing power rankings, getting yelled at by the readers, the normal stuff.
Cool, Andy. Congrats, man. This is great. I've dove into the first couple of chapters already, and looking forward to the rest of it. I appreciate you coming on and humoring me on the Royals for a little bit, and also talking about the book.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's Andy McCullough. He writes every day for The Athletic and has The Last of His Kind, Clayton Kershaw and the Burden of Greatness, on sale right now. Find it.
Buy a book.
Buy a book.
You can read it. There's stuff in there, or you can have it in your home, and people will come into your home and go, "Oh, he reads books."
Yeah, it's nice to just have there, isn't it?
Shaq meme. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your game.
Yeah, not bad. Clayton Kershaw is way more of an interesting. I mean, I'm looking at.
We didn't even get into his new girl appearance.
No, we didn't. I am looking at the active wins leaders right now.
Oh, this has got to be sad.
So Justin Verlander has 259. Max Scherzer has 214. Max Scherzer's been pitching in Major League Baseball for almost 20 years. He has 214 wins, and he's rarely been hurt. Clayton Kershaw has been pitching in major leagues since he was 20. He has 210 wins. He was dominant for almost a decade. It has resulted in 210 wins. And Garrett Cole is 33. He's got 145. Nobody's going to touch it ever again. Nobody's going to touch 300 ever again. So not that we have to lower the bar, specifically in the case of pitcher wins, we have to lower the bar, but we have to change our mindset on what a successful pitcher is in Major League Baseball. It's pretty much that simple. And
Braves pitcher Charlie Morton has 133. He's 40.
He's 40. I mean, but like that one makes sense he hasn't been like dominant, you know.
Right.
Chris Sale has had bouts of dominance. He has 125 wins. He's been hurt too much to approach that anyway. But I mean, these guys, Justin Verlander has been good his entire career and will not sniff 300 wins.
Michael Wacha is 20th. He has 90.
Yeah. Nobody's going to sniff this ever again. As Andy said, like 100 wins is a really great career.
There are only 14 active pitchers with 100 wins.
So you have to factor all this stuff in, like we talked about earlier. You're going to have a Tommy John probably somewhere in there, so you're going to miss a year. And then you got to hope that everything else goes well enough to keep you in Cy Young conversations every single year, as some of these top guys have done. But I mean, you look at it right now, it's just, I mean, we absolutely have to change, the way we think about this. And so from my standpoint, I'm an old school, I'm an old school guy. I appreciate greatly the work that a guy like Clayton Kershaw and the burden that a guy like Clayton Kershaw had to carry throughout his entire career to be as good as he was for as long as he was. And that is this book. You get an appreciation for that exact thing in this and how much he sacrifices every single day to be able to pitch on the fifth day. So it's a good read or a good listen if you're ripping off a gas mow in the front yard.
It still counts, Connor. A lot of people are going to tell you that it doesn't count. It still counts. You're consuming the information.
Jasker Todd writes in, what happens first? Someone gets to 300 wins or someone bats 400 in a year?
I don't think you have to worry about either. Ever.
More likely is 400, I guess. Nobody's getting 300 wins again. I mean, certainly not anybody active at the moment. You would have to, I mean, guys don't win 20 games a year anymore. It doesn't happen. And you'd have to do that for 15 years.
Quick math on that?
Yeah, I don't know. What is the math on that? 20 times 15, Josh?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. 20 times 15
300.
is 300. That was the quick math. Thank you. You have to do it.
Just hearing that sounds impossible. God,
there's
no one's going to win 20 games a year for 15 years.
There's no chance. So it's a great read. It's a really good story because I didn't know how much of a crazy person he is. He being Clayton Kershaw. Thanks to Andy, and appreciate him humoring me on the Royals in 2014, of which he was covering them for the Kansas City Star. And it was a great time. Great times were had by all in 2014 and 15.
Hell yeah.
We'll be back. Still a couple more things left to cover before we get to Jacob Bigelow and to get to your responses on the list. And a couple other things as we return to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning.
At Host Coffee Services, every cup of coffee served comes with a promise of quality, innovation, and a dash of fun, ensuring your workday is as delightful as your coffee break. Call Host Coffee Services today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
Some people think business banking is only about transactions. But at Emprise, we don't view money as an end game. We see it as an engine. It's who we are. Transforming ideas into IPOs, turning potential into profit. Emprise is next generation business banking, where we help money work for you, not the other way around. That's the power of possible. Visit emprisebank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
If you've got heart, come on out to Werner Park. We're gonna make some memories with the Chasers family.
Bring your pup to cheer on the Omaha Storm Chasers for Bark in the Park during Wednesday night games this season. Your dogs can get in for free and sit with you on the berm or in section 101. For tickets and to sign up your dog, visit omahastormchasers.com. That's omahastormchasers.com.
Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm, we're family.
Do you have any idea how much of your personal information is sold to unscrupulous people online? If you knew, you'd be shocked. But JoinDeleteMe.com can help you take back control of your data. Corporations called data brokers make big money compiling important information about you and then selling it to anyone and everyone. Scammers, potential stalkers, identity thieves, and worse, people who can ruin your life. But JoinDeleteMe.com scours the web, removes the personal information you don't want seen, and prevents data brokers from selling the information which could hurt you, your family, or your reputation. You'll get regular reports detailing what they found and removed. And JoinDeleteMe.com isn't AI. It's real people working to keep your data safe. Keep your private life private with JoinDeleteMe.com. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/radio and use promo code radio at checkout. Go to joindeleteme.com/radio and enter code radio at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/radio, code radio.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to let your band members in Vegas, Phoenix, and Omaha jam like you're all in the same garage. Introducing Cox Fiber, from the company with the fastest download speeds 9 years in a row. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, always building better. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence in Las Vegas, Omaha, Phoenix. Fixed median download speeds Q2 2016 to Q1 2024.
The boys of summer are back. Kansas City Royals baseball can be heard all season long on your home for Royals baseball in Omaha, 1620 The Zone and 1180 The Zone. Royals baseball is presented by J. Stinnett Contracting. We have you covered.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Join the VIP club and sign up for 1620 the email. You'll be the first to know about all the things that are going on at 1620 The Zone. And, when we officially announce that we're going to go to the bottoms for Big Red Overreaction, you'll be the first to know. So get signed up, 1620 the email, and all sorts of good content in there as well, and giveaways.
Yeah, going to, the station's probably going to Vegas in some capacity for Creighton basketball.
Probably.
What if there's a college football playoff road trip for Nebraska football? You'll want to know about
Probably. Very likely on both of those things, Josh.
Maybe we all go to the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City together to watch Dylon win the Heisman.
Oh, my God. So you can do that at 1620thezone.com. I'm looking at a couple things here before we get to Jacob. I'm looking at the list of Major League Baseball players who have ever achieved the milestone of 300 career wins. There are 24 of them.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's only 24.
I didn't realize that.
So Greg Maddux has 355. Roger Clemens had 354. Tom Glavine had 305. Randy Johnson had 303. Here's the rest of them. Cy Young, Walter Johnson, Grover Alexander, Christy Mathewson, Pud Galvin, Warren Spahn, Kid Nichols, Tim Keefe, Steve Carlton, John Clarkson, Eddie Plank, Nolan Ryan, Don Sutton, Phil Necro, Gaylord Perry, Tom Seaver, Old Hoss Radburn, Mickey Welch, and Lefty Grove and Early Wynn. Did you notice a trend there, Josh?
That you could play a game of 1970s wrestler or 1930s baseball player?
They could have all been named Old Hoss Radburn, and you wouldn't have been surprised.
Was there a Pud in there?
Pud. Mm-hmm. Pud Galvin.
Pud Galvin, okay.
Yeah, Pud Galvin, of course, passed away at the young age of 45 in 1902.
Oh, Pud wore the pillbox hat. Look at these images. Wow.
Yeah.
Baseball's first cheater, Pud Galvin, used testicular fluid as PED. That's a headline from USA Today.
What is testicular fluid?
I don't know. I just read the headline.
So Pud, as a member of the Buffalo Bisons in 1884 and 1883, started 75 games. So 83 he started 75 games, and 72 of them were complete games, and he went 46-29. So he pitched 656 innings in 1883. And that does a pretty good job, I think, of explaining how he amassed 365 career wins. So maybe, just maybe, this stat was pretty wild in the first place, and we never should have used just 300 flat as a notable career mark. Maybe it should have been like 250 or something like that. Because if you go down to 250, then there's some people that you've actually like heard of because they were born this century.
According to the Washington Post, the mustachioed right-hander received an injection of the brown sequard elixir, a concoction of testicular fluid from dogs and guinea pigs that was being touted at the time as the elixir of life. Galvin proceeded to pitch a 2-hit shutout in a win over the Boston Bean Eaters that day.
Roids. Here's a good rule of thumb, actually. If Bob Gibson isn't on the list, it's not a real rule.
You know what?
It's a fake rule.
That's actually a good bar. A good starting point.
Bob Gibson, from 1962 to 1972, did the following.
1972.
He won 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 13, 22, 20, 23, 16, and 19 games. You know how many wins he amassed in his career? 251. He did not even come close to 300 wins. That is a stupid stat. Bob Gibson was the most dominant pitcher, one of the most dominant pitchers of all time, and certainly of his day. And he would throw 300 innings routinely in Major League Baseball and crush everyone's soul who was in his way. And yet he's not on the elusive 300 wins list. Dan says on the text line, Grover Cleveland Alexander is famously from Nebraska. That's true. That is indeed true. Grover Cleveland Alexander. He of the, I believe, second most wins of all time. No, third most wins of all time. 373.
People forget.
Stupid stat. Let's make it go down. We should have made it go down in the first place. Josh, why don't we check in with checking out at the ballpark and see what's going on out there real quick. I mean, it's a good game right now. UNO's threatening, it sounds like.
Oh, you want to like actually check in?
Yeah, I want to check in. I want to see what's going on.
For that ball. There was no way he was going to be able to make any fair contact with that.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Misses away. Good stop there by Connor Capisi, and that's the other part of this, the movement.
The movement!
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Creighton leads 2-0, but UNO has the bases loaded in the top of the seventh. Now, earlier we tried to check in on this game.
Yes.
And here is what we were met with. Nebraska's most hype home games since 2004. But first, let's check in on Creighton and UNO baseball. What's going on out there?
Not a bad idea either. You get Dick in there to start the game, but as a catcher, he's caught most of the innings this year. Give him a break,
John!
because this is a very important weekend.
Aiden Hunt remains at second, leading away. 0-1 pitch.
You know how many words are said during a college baseball broadcast, radio broadcast?
Oh, a lot. College baseball games are long.
And probably only about 8 to 10 times throughout this entire broadcast did John mention the baseball player for UNO named Cardell Dick. But we caught one Right in those 10 seconds we were listening. By the way, UNO has scored.
Oh, no.
It is 2-1. We got
Dick.
John.
Dick.
Yep. You can say it. He didn't mean it.
Dick.
John emails in on the not that John. John emails in on the Equibank inbox.
Hi, John.
Wait a minute here. Are you telling me that the great Paul Skeens doesn't have a shot at 300 wins?
Yeah, that dude's going to blow out his ligament at least twice.
He does say this, though. You have to remember, he went from a catcher at Navy to a major league pitcher and picked Livy Dunn up along the way. I wouldn't put anything past the guy.
Dick.
I mean, he is a literal horse.
Yeah.
If anyone could just power through, it might be Paul Skeens.
No, it's not happening. Maybe 150. Maybe 150.
That's a good number. Respectable.
That's basically a Hall of Fame number now. Let's see who's sitting at 150. 150 career wins. I need to go to active.
150?
Yeah. You on the active list?
No, I was just wanting to.
Dick.
Oh, you just wanted to give me some more time.
I just wanted to play John Bishop's call again.
So here are the people who are sitting around 150 at the moment. Garrett Cole, 145.
Out for quite a while.
Like a good stretch of the season. Mm-hmm. Johnny Cueto is at 144. Lance Lynn's at 137. Uh-huh. Charlie Morton's at 133.
That's my guy.
Chris Sales at 125.
That's also my guy.
And that's, basically it. If you go to the 150 mark in career, these are not active guys. You will be met with people like Jake Peavy, 152. Irvin Santana, 151. Rick Porcello, 150 on the mark. Dick McBride,
Dick,
149. Josh. Bronson Arroyo, 148. Mike Hampton, 148.
Oh.
Brad Radke, 148. Aaron Seeley, 148. These are good careers.
Dick.
Lee writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Lee.
Skeens may never even get one win if the Pirates only throw him 4 innings at a time.
Well, that's true.
He did pitch 6 in his debut, though, right? He was out there a little bit. Chris in South Carolina wonders if Pud Galvin is real. Pud in the testicular fluid gate.
I posted the link to the article. We didn't have time for me to read the whole thing.
Greg in Myrtle Beach writes in,
Hi, Greg.
Not only did Cy Young win 511 games, he amazingly pitched 749 complete games. That's over 4.6 full modern baseball seasons.
Yeah. No, I was waiting for like the joke. No, he pitched that many complete games? Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I should name an award after him.
These guys just pitched. He only pitched 815 games in his career, and he started 750 of them.
Imagine that. If
we did not care about arms back then.
Just leave the guy in. It's his game. Whatever happens, happens.
Jacob Bigelow is coming up on the other side. We'll ask how his arm's doing after the strenuous nature of losing again in softball. Next on 1620 The Zone.
Dick.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Jensen Tire and Auto has been around since 1973. 1973. Maybe you weren't around back then, but for those of us who were, it's quite an accomplishment. Part of Jensen's success is that they provide their customers with the best prices on the best tire brands in town. Guaranteed. Fact is, if you find a lower locally advertised price on a tire Jensen carries, they'll match it. Guaranteed. And they'll service that tire for as long as you own it. After all, that's the key to their longevity, giving customers what they want, including great tires at the best prices in town. Jensen Tire and Auto, locally owned, family owned since 1973. Check us out at jensentireandauto.com today.
Memorial Day deals are yours now at Jensen Tire and Auto, including money saver deals on new sets of Ford Goodyear, Continental, General, Cooper, Kelly, and Maxxis tires. AC service too. Click on jensentireandauto.com now.
Spring has arrived, and Lenaha has everything you need to revitalize your landscape. The best shrubs, perennials, and freshly dug trees, all grown right here in Nebraska. Lenaha Nurseries. your homegrown headquarters since 1974. Think spring. Think Lanaha's Garden Center. We offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and high-quality plant material for your projects. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Let's go on a fishing trip you will be talking about for years. The best walleye fishing trip ever. Join me, Crash Davis. We're going to travel to the walleye capital of the world, September 15th through the 19th aboard a deluxe motor coach. Travel with me to Ballard's Resort on Lake of the Woods. Pricing includes round-trip motor coach transportation, 4 nights lodging, 3 days of fully guided walleye fishing, and all of our meals. Go fishing with me, Crash. Your best trip ever. Sign up at ballardsresort.com. ballardsresort.com. And set the hook.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal. This week's half-off deal is 5 $10 vouchers for just $25 to Story's Coffee Company. Story's Coffee Company offers teas, smoothies, breakfast, lunch, and heavy appetizers, plus craft beers and wines. They also have live music select evenings. Story's Coffee Company, 114th and Dodge, Midtown Crossing, and Gretna. This week's half-off deal. Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is and has always been locally owned and operated. Now, with 160 employee owners, chances are one of us lives in your neighborhood. We take pride in taking care of you, our customers, and keeping you comfortable all year round. And as always, our technicians don't have sales quotas. When other companies send salespeople, Standard sends qualified technicians. It's just part of.
Carrier, turn to the experts. Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
He's heating up. That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you. Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire! Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620 The Zone. Boom shakalaka!
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by our good friend Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, and the Stretch Big Pod. Jacob, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm glad it's a gorgeous day outside. The sun came up today, so that's a win. But I'm all right. So,
Were you?
How about you guys?
So you guys are taking the loss kind of hard. What is that the deal?
No, nothing related to softball at all.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I was not in the right frame of mind to attempt to play softball last night at all. As shown by my 0 for 2.
Gotcha.
With a ground out and a pop out. Not in the right frame of mind. Thankfully, no balls were hit my way in right field. Not my finest hour on the field last night.
Well, to be fair, it's nobody's finest hour every time the Jack Mitchell softball team plays. It seems so. I don't know.
That would appear to be the case. I think we all the wise words of young Matt McMaster. He put it pretty well last night. He said we need to split time between the cages and the treadmill because none of us can run out a ground out, and we can put some balls in play, but they're either going right at someone on defense or they're going straight up in the sky. So got some things to work on, figure out. We go down I don't even know if we're at the midway point technically, but now we're probably close to it. So
okay. Well, you don't worry. You guys will find it somewhere along the way. I can't wait till you do. But the news of the day in college basketball so far is that it appears that the University of Green Bay is set to hire Doug Gottlieb as their head coach, and they are set to allow Doug Gottlieb to continue to do his daily radio show, which is potentially very exciting for all of the rest of us, to listen into on a daily basis. This will be very good, I'm sure. This will work out really well.
No, very normal, very cool situation. Definitely does not set the precedent for JJ Redick to be an NBA head coach and keep doing his podcast, maybe with one of his players, even if he were to become the head coach of the Lakers. That's the world we're in at the moment. An interesting 3-year run. I hate that I know this, but an interesting 3-year run for UWGB basketball. They go from Bo Ryan's kid, who was not a very good coach whatsoever, to 1 year of Sundance Wicks, and they have a resurgent season. Also, Sundance Wicks, all-time basketball coach name, fits coaching at Wyoming pretty well. But they have a resurgent year under Sundance, and then they decide to hire Doug Gottlieb. So I can only imagine being a high school coach in the state of Wisconsin and like having, guys who aren't, good enough for Wisconsin or Marquette to come call in, and you can UW Milwaukee, UW Green Bay, like they're solid mid-major programs up there, and one of them is coached by Doug Gottlieb. That has to be pretty insulting to some of the coaches in the state of Wisconsin. It's a very out of left field, and it's pretty wild for me to see that become fact.
Yeah, the point of like this is kind of the world that we live in. Like, it really doesn't have to be. I mean, you could just hire a normal person and then try to win games, and then if it doesn't work, you could keep trying that. I don't like. We've seen this a few times. I mean, maybe you could make the case that this is kind of happening at the University of Colorado at Boulder at the moment. They're fighting for clicks, not wins, as Dan Lanning said. What has gotten into the people that think that this is a good idea in any way, shape, or form? There's no positive to it.
Like, this is the thing with Gottlieb, though. Like, he's been trying to do this for a while. Like, I think when Oklahoma State hired Mike Boynton, like, he was
he threw his name in there.
Throwing himself at Boone Pickens, if he was still, I forget if Boone Pickens was still alive, but throwing himself at the people in power at Oklahoma State, had a bright orange rental car when he was in Stillwater for the interview. The whole, like, he's been trying to get into coaching in some way, shape, or form for quite a while now. But no, it is quite it's quite the conundrum in the coaching ranks, because the list of quote unquote celebrity coaches. I mean, it continues to grow, and I don't think we've seen many of them show any evidence of consistent success to be built over time.
Maybe the thought is, okay, well, this will spur some sort of. I mean, if it's Gottlieb or if it's just like enter some celebrity coach or something like that, whatever it might be, maybe it'll spur some sort of NIL, donations or something like. But like Wisconsin, Green Bay, and schools like that are not. Like, you're not trying to compete in the NIL game. You're like, the way that those programs win the mid-major level is to identify good coaches and then have those good coaches develop and identify and develop good players. And the unfortunate part of it is, like, you're always going to end up at the other, on the bad side of it, because they'll leave and they'll go to the next best job and the players will go to the next best place. But as sad as it is, you have to still keep doing it because it's still your best path to winning, I think, right? Unless I'm missing something here.
No, that's what you'd think. I mean, unfortunately, I think UWGB is still in the Horizon League. I mean, that's always going to be a stepping stone league for coaches, and now in the portal era, it's going to feel like maybe a developmental league for players too, and the new landscape of college basketball. But I mean, like you said it, you're not getting into like the NIL, arms race. Your goal is to be a developmental program, whether that be for players or for coaches in that matter, like coaches who are looking to, take the next step to maybe that next big job. And I don't think hiring Duck Gottlieb fits that blueprint in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't think so either. Thought on a night kickoff between Nebraska and Colorado.
The first word that came to my mind is venom. I know that people will say there'll be some juice in that building. I don't think it's going to be juice. I think it's going to be venom. It's going to be pretty charged up. I mean, that's going to be a long day for some establishments on O Street, some establishments in the rail yard, some tailgates, and I think it being the second game of the year, you got the first game of build up, but then it's going to be immediate page turn and an off season's worth of venom built up, and in a few years worth of vitriol toward not just the head coach and his starting quarterback son, but I mean Colorado football in general. I mean the two losses in the Frost era, how last season went in Boulder. I mean there's plenty of build up, and yeah, I'm going a step above juice. I'm going with venom.
Yeah, we went through all the all-time build-up games earlier, and the theme that people started to notice as I gave them 10, 12, 15 of them was that they usually didn't turn out that well for Nebraska. How much PTSD do you think there will be going into that game just in Nebraska's their record basically in games that have been hyped? I've always noticed this, over the last couple of years, this kind of trepidation of like, why are we going to build ourselves up for this thing just to get our hearts ripped out again? Or do you think this time people will be unafraid to throw their entire energy behind whatever it takes on that day?
I think it'll be a balance. It'll be a little bit of both. I mean, there are obviously the people who are scarred and they remember, the big buildups of the last 20 years, it seems like. But I mean, then there's going to be obviously the irrational confidence. I mean, there's always the tale of two sides. I mean, even someone my age, I vividly remember the 2010 Texas game, mostly because I had a bunch of people over, a bunch of annoying little 13-year-olds in my house with my Nebraska fan dad and my native Texan mother, and that created a very interesting dynamic, and it was a lot of not happy kids that day, and that kind of is one of my core big hype build up Nebraska football memories. But it's going to be a little bit of both. I mean, there's obviously a great deal of optimism, within, the fan base right now, with, guys, additions on the roster, another guys having another year of development. I mean, there's plenty of optimism, but there's always going to be, that Nebraska football, pessimism that is, really, grown over the last handful of years.
One of the things that developed in as just kind of like a rumor in whatever spaces of college basketball this year is that things might be winding down for Fran McCaffrey, and that did not end up happening. Instead, it's Lisa Bluter who calls it a career at Iowa. That one was a pretty big surprise yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's usually Big Ten protocol to retire in May, but if you have your successor lined up, I mean, I figured right when I saw that come across, it would be Jan Jensen. She played for Lisa Bluter at Drake, was one of her first, was on one of her early Drake staffs, and has been in Iowa City for 24 years. Jan Jensen's Twitter @ this tells you how long she's been at Iowa and how long she's been on Twitter. Her Twitter @ is @GoIowa. That is how long she's been at Iowa and on Twitter. So it would have been tough to see anyone other than her take over the program, but obviously there had to be a plan in place given what they have coming in the portal and everything, and they're still going to be solid next year. I mean, I know I had plenty of people making the joke of she saw one practice without Caitlin and said, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah,
I don't get the sense that was what happened. But I mean, that was definitely out of left field. I was not expecting yesterday to be as newsy as it turned out.
No, it did. It got a little busy in the afternoon. Yeah, I'm looking at the Twitter profile right now @GoIowa. She must have been the first person on Twitter in Iowa. That's amazing.
one of them, that's for sure. I'm sure she probably had people offer her significant dollar amounts for that app.
Yeah, joined Twitter in March of 2009. That's really early, you would think.
Yes, it is. But yeah, now the head coach of Iowa women's basketball has probably one of the more sought after Twitter apps in that state. So
that's the same month and year I joined Twitter.
Oh, Josh, you could have been Go Nebraska.
I could have.
If you wanted to.
Missed opportunity.
You had a lot of people trying to pay you money and then make you the head coach of Nebraska basketball. Your dream job, of course. All right, Jacob, we appreciate the time as always, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
No, thanks, Hap. Appreciate it.
Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated and the Stretch Big Pod. He of basketball.
Going back to Gottlieb.
Yeah, what are we doing now?
I've reached out to Ellie French.
Oh boy.
Via text message.
What's her excitement level?
Ellie, are you excited to cover the Doug Gottlieb era?
And the Doug Gottlieb show, I think more in particular, she'll have to listen every day.
Every day. Oh my goodness. She won't be able to listen to the Connor Happer show anymore.
Unfortunately.
I don't know what the heck to expect. Laughing emoji.
I don't either. Probably not much of him actually coaching at all. Just delegating.
Remember when Juwan Howard delegated coaching duties?
This is one thing I don't know. I find it quite time consuming to do a radio show on a daily basis. I put a lot of hours. Believe it or not, I know what you guys are thinking. Believe it or not, I put a lot of time and effort into creating this radio show every day. Hopefully it doesn't seem like it, but it's quite time consuming.
Takes a lot of work to make it look this sloppy.
To be a head coach of a Division I basketball program and a radio show host, it just feels like kind of something has to give there. He can't do both full-assed. Something's got to be half-assed.
It has to be like, hey, let me finish the show out in the summer and then I'll take over. But summer sports radio is not a thing. Like, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know it's got to be very difficult to do. So, good luck, Doug Gottlieb. Great job by Wisconsin Green Bay. What a horrible hire. What a horrible hire.
I'm sure it will go well.
Question from the 402 on the text line.
Hi, 402.
Do you think Doug Gottlieb will question the calls of the Green Bay coach on his radio show? I didn't like the call there.
Yeah, is he going to intimately cover the Horizon League Jacob said they were in?
Yeah, this is dumb. I don't think so. We'll probably just have to go back to doing takes about LeBron. Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Either he's working so hard at coaching basketball, his show gets lazy, or he's working so hard on the radio show and his coaching gets lazy.
Something's got to give, like I said.
It's going to be fun.
All right, we'll be back. Still a couple more things that we can get to on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
I opened up my fortune cookie last night, and on the front it says, here you could download a bunch of music. And then on the back, there's a QR code for Napster.
Yeah, fortune cookies used to be fun, whimsical. At the end of your chicken fried rice, you're like, boop, boop, boop.
Boop, boop, boop. That's exactly what I did
we had
last night.
Chinese the other night. I don't think we ever got fortune cookies.
Even worse.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Ample sunshine for your Tuesday afternoon, but some hazy skies providing some moderate air quality thanks to some Canadian wildfire smoke in here. Should clear out more through the afternoon hours, and we'll hit a high near 77 degrees today. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV Newswatch 7.
Make the right call. John Higgins, weather call. The roofery.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more DaVinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins, weather call. The home of the rooferys. Make the right call.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to let your band members in Vegas, Phoenix, and Omaha jam like you're all in the same garage. Introducing Cox Fiber, from the company with the fastest download speeds 9 years in a row. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, always building better. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence in Las Vegas, Omaha, Phoenix. Fixed median download speeds Q2 2016 to Q1 2024.
Hey, you hear that? That's the sound of loose change in your pocket reminding you to buy a 99-cent medium fountain drink from Casey's. So the next time you hear this, you already know where to go. 99-cent medium fountain drinks. It's not crazy. It's Casey's.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
The Zone hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
All right, we should check in on Kids Day out at the ballpark. What's going on out there?
1-4 on the sacrifice, but that'll put Sherman at second. And Kyler Zukowski will hit for Dieters.
Okay. What's the score, John? John, what's the score?
Teddy's Day is going to go down. Somewhat disappointed. Did get an RBI with the sacrifice fly, but had consecutive strikeouts following that.
Well,
let's look at the matchup here, too, for Kyler Zukowski.
Well, Zukowski himself is trying to extract.
I've heard enough.
A bit of
Nobody knows what the score is. Nobody knows what inning it is. It is either in the 8th or the 9th. I can tell you that because John's doing play-by-play. So that's good. But according to Stat Broadcast, it's in the top of the 7th with 1 out, which it is clearly not. The score could be anything right now. But I'll have to, Josh, text one of those kids. Is your kid there today?
No.
You should text him.
No. It'd be a great bit, though.
Updates from our kid at Kids Day. I don't think anybody had too many problems with my list, by the way. I was amazed.
Oh.
What?
We just got some CBS Big Ten content.
What do you mean by that?
3 game times have dropped.
Whoa. Where are you seeing this? Where are you seeing this?
At CBS Sports.
At CBS Sports on Twitter?
Uh-huh.
CBS Sports.
Saturdays at 2:30 are looking big in 2024.
None of these involve Nebraska.
No. Well, one of them clearly does.
Saturdays are looking big in 2020.
Notre Dame, Purdue, 2:30 Saturday, September 14th.
Yeah.
Saturday, September 21st, USC at Michigan.
Oh.
And December 7th, the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, that's not going to include Nebraska, Josh. Dream
wow,
on, buddy.
Connor.
What? Nebraska's not going to the Big Ten championship game.
Give me of the program.
Get a grip. I'm trying to tell you that they're going to be good this year, but not that good. Jeez.
That's what we know.
So CBS is doing the Big Ten championship game?
Yes, I am surprised as you are.
Huh. What happened there?
Hey, thanks for airing that Rutgers Northwestern game Sunday morning.
What happened there? How did that happen?
I have no idea.
Fox doesn't have any other things they have to attend to that day, do they?
CBS lost the SEC championship game, so they're probably like, "Hey, we'd
throw us a bone."
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So does Fox get a different conference title game now?
I wouldn't think so.
I mean, what's Fox going to do? They're just going to say, screw it. We'll just take all the NFL games on Sunday.
Probably.
Whatever. Well, that is definitely different. Whether or not it includes Nebraska, which it definitely won't. Sorry. The Big Ten championship game is moving to CBS. I feel like there's a announcement that is going to accompany that at some point, but I guess that's a story for now. Anyway, nobody had problems with my list, which is great.
Good.
Which means I covered all the bases in that regard. Elsewhere in TV news, 3 Big Noon Saturday games are on the hook. We have Texas and Michigan in week 2. We have Alabama and Wisconsin in week 3. And then we have week whatever, the last week of the season, Michigan and Ohio State. ESPN and ABC have revealed their week 0 and 1 slates, in which they will be headed to Mike Elko Town, Notre Dame, and Texas A&M.
People forget
that will be week 1. That's August 31, not weeks. Is there anything going? Is there an Ireland game this year? I assume
yes, Farmageddon.
Oh, that's no. That's not this year. No,
I'm sorry.
That would be next year. Is it Notre Dame and somebody? I might be because Notre Dame's playing week 0 CFB 2024. It is Florida State and Georgia Tech.
Oh yeah, that's
Florida
why we
State
forgot about it. We head to the 9th. Creighton 2, Omaha 1.
Creighton 2, Omaha 1. Okay. Good. Looks like Stat Broadcast is finally updated.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Stat Broadcast. I appreciate that. College Game Day will originate from College Station that day for the first time since 2018. Other things going on in week 1 on ABC, Clemson and Georgia in Atlanta at noon. Florida hosts Miami at 3:30 in the first SEC ESPN ABC broadcast. And of course, that was the spot that was left by CBS. And then there is the Sunday game that for some reason always features LSU. USC and LSU will play each other on ABC, 7:30 kickoff on Sunday night.
I like it.
Of course, the Monday is Labor Day. And they will do College Game Day in week 0 in Dublin with Florida State and Georgia Tech. And Alabama will be on ESPN in week 1 as well, and Kalen DeBoer's debut at 6:30.
Oh yeah,
against Western Kentucky.
Prime time for the Hilltoppers.
And then a couple of weeks later, they head to Wisconsin. ESPN will also take North Dakota State and Colorado on Thursday, the 29th. TCU Stanford on August 30th, and Boston College and Florida State on Monday, the 2nd. Florida State's always on the weird Labor Day game as well. So there you go. There's our latest college football game time offerings for you. Still only one. Still only one for Nebraska.
Yeah.
That we know of. I imagine that we will get some news on Nebraska-Iowa kickoff time.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Probably by the time the week is over.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are other big games. I mean, there's really not too much. It's USC. I'd be interested to see what they're going to do with the USC game. And I would imagine Ohio State is probably headed for big noon. That's a death trap. Nebraska's going to probably get bludgeoned in that game. And then you hope that you don't get too many 11 a.m. games that are on BTN along the way, which being Nebraska, I don't think that they will. Like, I think you'll have a CBS. Like, Nebraska feels like they slot in pretty nicely on CBS. Like, if you're just mapping out a regular week of college football in the Big Ten, Ohio State's probably like going to be the noon, they're going to be on Fox. And this is not every week, but it'll change. It'll vary. And then, where's Michigan go? You want to put them in a night game as much as you possibly can. Where does Oregon and Washington go? You probably don't want to put them in the morning too much. And then, after that, it's like the tier of Penn State, Nebraska, and teams that will be big TV draws. Jesse writes in on
Hi, Jesse.
The text line. Big Ten Championship, Oregon, Nebraska, Dillon versus Dylon. Good one. It's a good one. CBS will also take, I'm just seeing this, a couple more games that CBS has announced to us here.
Oh.
Notre Dame, Purdue.
Uh-huh.
Did we know about this?
USC, Michigan?
Yeah. Were those the two that you mentioned before?
Uh-huh. That you said didn't matter at all? And you scoffed at? That I would even bring it up on the show?
Yeah, those. I thought that was extra. I thought that those for whatever. See, this is why we shouldn't do this on the show, because there's two. None of them actually make any sense. We won't remember any of it.
I'll remember that the Big Ten Championship.
I will definitely remember that the
CBS
Big
for
Ten
some
Championship
reason.
game is on CBS for sure. All right, we'll come back. Poll questions. Tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
Let's go on a fishing trip you will be talking about for years. The best walleye fishing trip ever. Join me, Crash Davis. We're going to travel to the walleye capital of the world, September 15th through the 19th aboard a deluxe motor coach. Travel with me to Ballard's Resort on Lake of the Woods. Pricing includes round-trip motor coach transportation, 4 nights lodging, 3 days of fully guided walleye fishing, and all of our meals. Go fishing with me, Crash. Your best trip ever. Sign up at ballardsresort.com. ballardsresort.com. And set the hook.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Guys, let's have a conversation. Let's say you've been losing interest in your spouse. You got low libido. You can't focus on things. And you're wondering, what is going on? It may be low testosterone. Mentality is here for you. With their FDA-approved testosterone treatment, the board-certified physicians who work with most insurance companies, they can diagnose the symptoms of low testosterone and take care of it. Schedule an appointment today. Go to the website, lowtusa.com. Take back your life, man. Mentality, lowtusa.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is 5 $10 vouchers for just $25 to Story's Coffee Company. Story's Coffee Company offers tea, smoothies, breakfast, lunch, and heavy appetizers, plus craft beers and wines. They also have live music select evenings. Story's Coffee Company, 114th and Dodge, Midtown Crossing, and Gretna. This week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Host is roasting every morning. Host Coffee Services stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call us today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
All right, so Stat Broadcast is saying that it's 2-1 in the top of the ninth. Creighton leading UNO. Creighton is going for a very sad version of the state sweep this year.
Yeah,
they will have not lost a game to an in-state team if they win today, but yet they will be the only team that is really actually eliminated from contention of the NCAA tournament. Ugh.
Terrible.
By the way, listen to Creighton baseball this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday with me and John.
That'll be good. That'll be a good broadcast.
Oh, I am sure we'll get into some things. A quick reminder that this week's Zone Deal is to Story's Coffee, serving premium coffee roasted on site. Also, tea, smoothies, breakfast, lunch, 7 local craft beers on tap, and wine. So this Zone Deal is a little bit different.
Oh.
Instead of 2 vouchers that are worth $25, it's 5 vouchers that are each worth $10, but it still is the same great steal. $50 value.
I was still doing
and
the math.
it only costs you $25. 5 $10 vouchers, a $50 voucher for only $25. On sale Friday at 9 at 1620thezone.com. Josh, to the polls. By the way, is John doing the show today, or is he going to be here?
Well, he's still calling a game. It's the top of the ninth. Creighton just struck out a batter.
Okay, so there's 2 outs now?
I believe so.
Oh, whatever. We're just going to continue on with Adam for now. We had one singular poll question today.
Glad I put it up there. I wasn't sure if I was going to.
Is Tom Brady AI? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
60-40 yes at this point.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about him. Yes, I think he's 60% AI at this point.
Those are the polls. What are we watching?
We're watching NBA playoffs. We are back at the Garden. We're bing-bonging tonight. 7 o'clock tip. A little later than normal. Pacers Knicks on TNT. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Another decisive game 5 tonight in the Mile High City. Connor's dead Denver Nuggets host the Minnesota Timberwolves at 9. That's a 9:30 tip, Connor.
9:30 Central?
Central.
Wait, really?
That's what it told me.
That can't be right. I'll go. Hold on.
You please look that up. Check my work.
Oh my God, it does say 9:30.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little much.
A little late.
That's a little much. We're encroaching on Oregon Creighton territory here.
You know, I'm always the guy that says don't complain about the late tip off. Okay, 9:30.
Yeah, we're
9:30. I get you might have some things to say.
By the way, Chris in South Carolina says those hats are fired, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We
State
love State Track.
That's right. A couple of hockey playoff games tonight. 6 o'clock ESPN. Florida has a chance to close out the Boston Bruins at home. They lead the series 3-1. 8:30 puck drop on ESPN after that. The Vancouver Canucks lead the Edmonton Oilers 2-1. In that series, they will play game 4 Tonight, baseball, Phillies, Mets on your TV right now. Phillies were up 2-0 in Flushing. Then 6:40, your TBS game of the week. Yankees at the Twins. I'm sorry, Twins fans. Reds
PTSD.
and then America's team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 8:40 on ESPN Plus. 9 o'clock on MLB Network. It's the Rockies and the Padres in California. Opening night for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
Caitlin Fart.
Whoa, bringing that back. Take on the Connecticut Sun in Connecticut, 6:30. First tip on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus.
It's a lot of pluses.
It's a lot of pluses. And then after that, the Phoenix Mercury, who are dead to us, take on the defending champion Las Vegas Aces.
Josh is accusing them of engagement farming by tweeting pictures of Jazz.
Yeah, they know what that does. They know what they were doing. 9 o'clock tip there. That game also on ESPN2, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. 8 o'clock tonight on NBC. It is The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon 10th anniversary special.
Oh, no.
A 2-hour clip show of the best moments. This isn't even anything live or fun, just reliving the best moments from the last 10 years. And then 2 movies real quick before we get out of here.
Okay.
Amazon Prime has a good movie, American Fiction, nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. It won for Best Adapted Screenplay. And then quite possibly the worst movie of the year premieres on Netflix
Pop-Tarts.
today. No, although that is in the running. Madam Web, starring Dakota Johnson, taking place in the Spider-Man universe.
Yikes.
It's garbage.
I think we got past the Dakota Johnson craze. I think we as a country got over Dakota Johnson pretty quick.
Well, when your dad is Don Johnson, people just keep giving you work.
But she was the one in the sex movies, right?
Yes, yeah. She was.
And so everyone was obsessed with her for a little while. And then we're like, actually, maybe we just like the sex parts.
Yeah, maybe we just liked that and not any of her acting ability.
Interesting. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
Good Rex. Hey, look, there's Rob Pelinka watching Baylor Shireman play basketball. I turned it over to the draft combine.
Oh, the Ringer had a mock of Baylor going in the second round.
There you go. That's the show today. If you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Forget the drive to Colorado or Missouri. Stop into any Omaha 42 Degrees and indulge in a curated cannabis experience. Premium flower, cannabis, pre-rolls, and cannabis accessories paired with an elevated customer service experience. All are waiting for you at 42 Degrees. From novices to connoisseurs, we're here to elevate your cannabis journey. 42 Degrees, your destination for top-tier cannabis, second to none product selection, and exceptional service. By your mom's house.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage, and it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
Murphy Tractor and Equipment is your source for John Deere construction equipment rental. We rent high-quality equipment and attachments with add-on options in TopCon precision construction technology. Whether you need 1 week or 6 months, we rent a variety of equipment to help you get the job done. All our rental equipment is fully serviced, fueled, and ready to get to work. Let Murphy Tractor be your first choice for your construction equipment rental needs. Visit us online at murphytractor.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy.